Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Romeo by Cameron Hart, narrated by Helena Walters and Soren Gray. Chapter 1. Talia. I shouldn't have come here. That thought replays in my mind as I curl into a tight ball behind the dumpster, trying to make myself invisible. A rancid garbage smell permeates the small alleyway nestled between two large warehouses, and despite the chill of a New York City winter, the scent hangs heavy in the air. I cover my mouth with my hand to block the smell and muffle the sound of my heavy, panicked breathing. I know better than to be in this neighborhood alone at night, but I was on a mission. My older brother Thomas forgot the dinner I packed him for his night shift at the meat processing plant. I don't bring much to our relationship, and I know Thomas resents me for moving in after Dad ditched me. I've been pulling in some extra income through my online crochet store, but it's never enough. The least I can do is make sure Thomas gets 3 meals a day and comes home to a tidy apartment, even if it's in the slums. Someone kicks an empty soda can in my direction before wrenching open a side door and stomping inside one of the buildings. I hold my breath, willing this to be over soon. I had no idea what I was walking into when I searched for a back entrance to the building where my brother works. Tears sting my eyes, and I strain to hear the nearby conversation over the thundering sound of my heart.
"Thomas, you fucking idiot!"
An older man spits out. I peer through the sliver of a window between the dumpster and the brick wall, hoping to see who is yelling at my brother. The man is short and round, with a cheap toupee that isn't fooling anyone. I've seen him before, but I can't remember his name. Matt? He's somehow involved with the union all the meatpacking plant workers are in. Thomas has been hanging around him more and more lately.
"Chill, Martin. I'll get the money by the end of the week, and no one will know."
Martin, that's right.
"That's not good enough,"
Martin grinds out.
"I don't know if I can protect you from this kid."
Why does my brother need protection? What money? I had my suspicions that Thomas was doing something shady on the side, but I thought he was making illegal bets or selling stolen goods. Not that those things are excusable, but they are par for the course around here. This sounds more serious, though. What has he gotten himself into?
"What are you saying?"
My brother asks, a hint of worry creeping into his voice.
"You know I'm good for it. Plus, I thought you said we'd be getting a shitload more money soon, from that business transaction you've been so secretive about." "Yeah, soon being the operative word,"
he mutters.
"But you may have ruined that, destroyed our credibility. Do you have any idea how fragile the balance of power is right now?"
Martin paces back and forth, waving his hands in the air as if that will help drive his point home. He pulls out a cigarette and lights it, taking a long drag before coughing it out. Silence blankets the alley while Martin and Thomas face off. The two men square their shoulders as they stare each other down. It's not just quiet. It's the complete absence of sound, as if Mother Nature herself is holding her breath for what happens next. The bitterly cold wind scrapes against my cheek and nose until I can't feel them anymore, but I don't dare try to cover my face with my scarf. Any movement would break the almost supernatural stillness surrounding us. Thomas is the first to speak, his voice coming out nasally and tinged with rising fear.
"If you'd looped me in earlier, maybe this wouldn't have happened,"
he whines. He's never been known to take responsibility for his actions, so I'm not surprised at his response.
"Maybe this wouldn't have. Jesus, kid, you fucked up."
I watch my older brother's face turn from a heated red to a ghostly white. It's finally sinking in that he's in real danger. I have no clue what kind of danger, but the sinking sensation twisting my insides says it's the fatal kind. The men grow quiet, and I try to calm my erratic breathing. When I first heard shouting, I didn't think much of it. The plant isn't in the best part of town, and our apartment, which is only a few blocks away, is even deeper in the slums than this place. People fight all the time, but they usually keep their rage focused on the conflict at hand. I learned early on the safest thing to do was to mind my own business. Then, I recognized my brother's slurred voice and knew he was in trouble. If only he was drinking on the job again. This sounds much more serious.
"They're here,"
Martin whispers harshly. My brother doesn't say anything, but for the first time in my life, I see genuine fear flickering in his green eyes. A few moments later, 3 men dressed in crisp black suits and long trench coats appear. Ice creeps down my spine, filling my veins with a chill down my bones. The dark figures carry an air of strict, ruthless authority. Dread knots my stomach as I watch the men approach Martin and Thomas.
"Leo, there you guys are,"
Martin says, trying to sound jovial. His voice is tinny and hollow, too strained to be believed.
"Do you have the missing funds?"
One of the foreboding men asks. Martin peers at Thomas, who has a deer-in-the-headlights look on his face. My older brother may be a drunk and a petty criminal, but it's obvious he's never looked true evil in the eyes until now.
"I can get it by next."
"No." The man clips out, cutting Thomas off. He turns back to Martin, eyeing him up and down.
"I thought we were on the same side, Mr. Branson, but perhaps I misjudged you."
Martin's gaze dips, and I follow his line of sight to the gleaming metal gun in the man's right hand, resting at his side. For now.
"We are on the same side,"
Martin insists.
It was...
The portly man with thinning hair scrambles for something to say to save his life.
"It was Thomas. Thomas stole the money and thought you wouldn't notice."
Thomas glares at Martin, betrayal painted over his features, before he turns his attention to the man with the gun.
"I can explain."
A gunshot cracks through the inky black sky, followed by a sickening thud. My mouth drops open, and the air drains from my lungs as I watch thick, dark red blood pool around my brother's body. He's looking away from me, but I know the source of the bleeding. A bullet between the eyes. Staring in shock, I can't comprehend what's happened. A life has just ended, cut short by nothing more than the twitch of a trigger finger. I finally drag air into my burning lungs, but the tears won't come. Blinking rapidly, I force my attention on anything but my brother's body. Even though we lived together, we were never particularly close. Thomas was 18 years older than me and moved out before I turned 2. Still, he took me in when I showed up on his doorstep 2 years ago. Our relationship has been rocky ever since, and his drinking was getting out of control. But it wasn't all bad. I've been focusing on my online crochet business, trying to scrimp and save as much as possible to get a place of my own. But now, nothing seems real, and my brother is just... gone. The click of a gun cocking has me whipping my head in that direction.
"Now, gentlemen,"
Martin starts, holding his hands up in surrender.
"Let's not get any ideas here. Thomas's death is inconsequential, but if you shoot the head of the fucking UFCW union, you'll draw a lot of attention. Attention we can handle."
One of the previously silent men says, his voice gritty and terrifying.
"Traitors, on the other hand."
He lunges toward Martin, grabbing him by his shirt collar and pulling him up, up until his toes are barely touching the ground. Martin whimpers as the man shoves a gun to his temple, the metal digging into his skin.
I'm not a traitor.
Martin stutters.
I swear it. Thomas got himself tangled up in the money laundering we were doing and thought he could skim off the top. Bullshit. You're working with the DeSalvos, aren't you? What? No, not since your initial offer.
DeSalvo. I've heard that name before, but I can't remember where or in what context. Probably something Thomas went on a drunk rant about at some point.
What do you think, boys?
The man calls over his shoulder.
Do we believe Mr. Branson?
Without waiting for an answer, he squeezes the trigger, sending a bullet tearing through Martin's skull. He drops to the ground next to my brother in a crumpled, unnatural state. I try shutting my eyes, but I can't look away from Martin's dead stare. His brown, lifeless eyes bore into me as terror wraps itself around my body in a suffocating blanket. I'm vaguely aware of 3 sets of footsteps fading into the background, followed by the subtle start of an engine as a car pulls out of the gravel parking lot. But I can't bring myself to move, to blink, to breathe. I'm suspended in this moment as it stretches on for eternity. My vision grows fuzzy around the edges, and a few black spots dance in front of my eyes. Only then do I realize I've been holding my breath for too long, and I'm on the brink of passing out. Pulling ragged breaths into my lungs, I try not to choke on the rotting garbage smell mixed with the metallic scent of blood. I need to get out of here. That thought seems to reset my brain, and my fight-or-flight response finally kicks in. I carefully uncurl myself from my hiding spot and crawl a few feet down the alley before standing on my wobbly legs. 1 foot in front of the other, I tell myself. It feels like I'm wading through mud, and I try picking up my pace only to trip and fall on my hands and knees. Biting my lips to contain my whimper of pain, I continue crawling until I can stand again. Every muscle in my body is tense to the point of trembling, but I know I can't stop. I can't look back. Nowhere is safe anymore, yet I don't know where else to go except back to the apartment. I swear every step echoes louder than the gunshots from earlier. But I keep going. Adrenaline pumps through my veins, making my heart hammer against my chest in an attempt to break free. When I stumble onto the porch steps leading to our apartment door, I reach into my pocket for the keys, dropping them 3 times before finally getting the right one. Once inside, I frantically search for anything to block the door. No one is after me now, but I'm not stupid. I know they'll come, whoever they are. We don't have much furniture in our studio apartment, but I shove the little kitchen table against the doorway, as well as the chairs, coffee table, and bookshelf. As if on cue, my body collapses as soon as I have the last piece of furniture in place. I have nothing left. No energy, no tears, no fight, no family. I am utterly alone in the world. Crawling over to the bed shoved in the corner of the room, I grab a blanket and pillow and huddle up at the foot of the bed, squeezing myself between the corner and the old lumpy mattress. As amped up as I was a few minutes ago, I can barely keep my eyes open now. Fear still courses through my body with each beat of my heart, but I don't have the energy to do anything about it. Just a little rest, I reason. Then I'll come up with a plan.
Chapter 2. Romeo. And you're sure it was a hit job? I growl at my second-in-command, Dante. Martin Branson wasn't exactly the smartest man. He could have pissed off any number of punks with an itchy trigger finger. This was too clean, Dante responds in his crisp, no-nonsense tone. And they did it out in the open to send a message. Fuck, I mutter, resting my head in my hands. Do we know who did it? Dante shakes his head, not even blinking when I utter a string of curse words. He's used to my wrath, and takes it all in stride. As the underboss of the Salvo crime family, he's my closest ally. He'd be my best friend, if men like me could afford to have friends. What will this do to our day-to-day operations? I ask, leaning back in my chair and crossing one leg over the other. Dante gives me a breakdown of ramifications, and I nod along while piecing together a plan. Martin is the head of the UFCW union, which is in charge of the many workers employed at the meatpacking plant in North Brooklyn. The DeSalvo family has had a long-standing arrangement with him. More specifically, our ill-gotten gains are laundered through the union pension fund, which can only happen if management is on our side. In return, the DeSalvo family offers their protection and guarantees fair pay, plenty of sick leave and vacation time, as well as a generous health plan, including maternity and paternity leave. But all of that disintegrated overnight after Martin caught a bullet with his temple. Do we know who his replacement will be? I ask sharply, cutting Dante off. No, boss. I have Valentino working on getting intel since that's his territory. I grunt, sitting up straight and resting my elbows on my desk. Looking at my second-in-command, I sense there's more he's not telling me. What else, Dante? It's likely nothing. Out with it, I growl, my patience wearing thin. This is not how I wanted to start my Monday morning, and now I have a shitstorm to deal with on top of the meetings I was already drowning in. Martin's body was found alongside someone else, Thomas Brooks, 38, plant worker for over a decade, and a sloppy drunk by all accounts. We've ruled him out as nothing more than a wannabe thug who got caught up in a much bigger game than he could handle. And he has a 20-year-old sister, Talia. They live together in a block of apartments behind the plant. She's no threat, but she is a loose end. Even if she doesn't know what's going on, she's bound to question her brother's whereabouts if she hasn't already. I grunt in acknowledgement, swallowing past the unfamiliar knot of tension in my throat. Honestly, Dante continues, whoever took Martin and Thomas out is probably already on their way to find and deal with her, so we shouldn't have to worry about it. The tightness in my throat migrates to my chest, filling my veins with restless energy. Something in me recoils at the thought of harm befalling the mysterious Talia, even if it's not at the hands of my men. It's true. Even though I'm the ruthless Mafia king of the New York City underworld, I don't take pleasure in ending innocent lives. I try to conduct my business with as few casualties as possible, especially when it comes to women and children. But this feeling is something more. I clench my fists, trying to focus back on Dante. I don't know this woman, and I shouldn't care about her well-being any more than any other stranger I cross paths with. Would you like me to send someone to her residence and scope it out? No, I shout, pounding my fist on the solid oak desk. I'm as shocked as Dante at my outburst, but I don't let it show. As the head of the DeSalvo crime family, I must always be in control of my emotions. But I'll do it. Dante blinks a few times, opening his mouth before closing it again. Good man. He knows I've made up my mind, even if he doesn't understand why. Fuck if I know, but I can't take it back now. Dismissing Dante, I call my head of staff to have my black BMW waiting for me out front in 5 minutes. I guess I'm heading to Brooklyn this morning. Half an hour later, I make my second drive around the apartment block where Talia Brooks lives. I knew it was in a rough part of town, but I get that same tightness in my chest when I think about a defenseless young woman staying here alone. Parking in a discreet location behind a few overgrown bushes, I silently climb out of my vehicle and check my surroundings before making my way to the woman's apartment. It's on the ground floor, which once again has something protective twisting up my insides. Keeping my back to the wall of the building, I slink along in the shadows, taking note of everything around me. It's barely 10 in the morning, yet a junkie is shooting up around the corner from Talia's apartment in broad daylight. I also notice a hastily done drug deal a few doors down. Loud music blasts from an upstairs unit, while a screaming match takes place in another. I don't need to sneak around. I bet I could walk up to any of these apartments with my weapon drawn and no one would look in my direction. Still, old habits die hard, and I can never be too careful, especially since I took on this recon mission alone. I still can't explain it, but I'm drawn to this Talia woman. Maybe I'm just getting soft after nearly 20 years of being the Don, but my gut tells me it's something more, something worth risking everything for. I didn't get this position and keep it going for so long by ignoring my instincts. So, here I am, creeping up to what appears to be the only window in the entire apartment. I peer inside, squinting my eyes to adjust to the dim lights. I don't see anything at first, and I fear I'm too late. But then a movement in the corner of the small space catches my eye. Long auburn hair glitters in the tiny beam of sunshine filtering through the window, drawing my attention there. The woman turns her head to the side, allowing me to see her profile. My gaze wanders down the slope of her delicate nose, taking in her rounded cheek and pouty lips as I let my eyes dip down to drink in her curves. Even in a ratty old bathrobe, I can tell this woman is full-figured, though I try not to eye-fuck her like a perv. Snapping my attention back to her face, I can make out the shape of her wide, doe-like eyes as she blinks. I'm mesmerized by every inch of this angel, from her slightly upturned nose to the gentle sway of her hips as she prepares herself a mug of tea. The more I study her, the more I realize her movements are tentative and jerky, like she's scared of her own shadow. I watch as Talia brings the mug to her lips, her hands trembling so badly she can hardly take a sip. Talia whimpers as hot liquid splashes over the rim of the mug, burning her hands, and I have the strongest, strangest urge to comfort her? No, that can't be right. I wouldn't even know how to do that. Yet my hands twitch to help her clean up the mess before tending to her wound. Jesus, I must be losing it. First, I drag my ass out here on a mission better fit for a captain than the goddamn boss, and then I go all soft for a curvy goddess in a heap of trouble she doesn't even understand. Talia sets the mug on the counter and stands there, staring at it. No, she's staring through it, right into the void that's opened up in her life. I know that look all too well. I tear my eyes from the confounding woman to examine her living quarters. The studio apartment can't be more than 400 square feet, with a mini kitchenette and a small bathroom off to one side. All the furniture is piled up in front of the door in a weak attempt to keep the boogeyman out. The table and chairs leaning against the door are older than the building itself, and I have no doubt I could burst through the door, furniture and all, without even scuffing my Italian leather Oxfords. A twin mattress and box spring are stacked up in the corner on the other side of the room. The blankets and pillows are at the foot of the bed, as if she feels safer curled up in the corner. What is this tightness in my chest? This sinking feeling twisting up my gut? I don't like the thought of Talia being afraid of anything, and in this case, her fears are entirely founded. She saw something all right, and I need to figure out exactly what she knows. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up, sending awareness prickling down my spine. Someone else is here. Someone else is watching her. I dart my eyes to the left and right, catching a glimpse of a sleek navy blue car before it turns the corner. I registered the vehicle as one that drove by a few minutes ago, and I'm immediately on high alert. Slinking back into the shadows, I keep close to Talia's apartment and watch as the blue car pulls into a parking spot in an abandoned lot across the street. Logically, I know this sketchy character could be here for any of the tenants in this building, but every instinct I've honed over the years tells me he's looking for the same woman I am. When I see his face, I know it to be true. Fucking hell, I mutter under my breath. I recognize that lowlife as one of the enforcers for the Colombo family. I've been in this business for too long to believe in coincidences. He's here to grill Talia and then dispose of her. But I can't let that happen. I need her. Well, I need her answers. I need to know what she knows, and that's it. What else would I need her for? A fleeting image of Talia smiling up at me appears and then evaporates before my eyes, and I shake off the feeling that this woman is about to change everything. She can't. I won't allow it. Men like me weren't made for soft, doe-eyed, innocent little lambs like Talia. I'd ruin her the same way my father ruined my mother, and spend the rest of my life in a loveless marriage surrounded by opulence and an endless parade of extravagant gifts. Or maybe I'm projecting. Looking over my shoulder, I catch another glimpse of Talia. She's cradling her burnt hand against her chest, her eyes closed as she folds in on herself. I can fucking feel the weight of her entire world resting on her shoulders, the fear pumping through her veins, and the exhaustion tugging at her soul. I can't keep Talia as mine, but I can protect her in exchange for her honesty about what she saw last night. That's all. It has to be all. Then why does something in me break when the first tear falls down her cheek? Why do I want to wipe it away and hold her in my arms? The rustling of leaves draws my attention back to the present, and I know I don't have much time to act before the Columbos get to her. Fuck me. This isn't going to end well, but I have no choice. I can't let anyone hurt her. I won't stand for it. Tucking my piece into the waistband of my pants, I cover it with my jacket and knock on Talia's door.
Chapter 3. Talia. I drop to the floor as soon as I hear the knock, barely registering the mug falling from my hand and cracking against the cheap linoleum. My knees are still bruised and bloody from when I fell last night, but the pain burns away in the face of sheer panic. Squeezing my eyes shut and holding my breath, I curl into the tiniest ball I can manage. Another sharp knock lands on my door, and I can't suppress the whimper that falls from my lips. I passed out last night for a few hours after the adrenaline drained from my muscles. I crashed into an all-consuming, almost drugged sleep filled with gruesome, bloody nightmares. It was still dark when I woke up, but my anxiety wouldn't let me fall back to sleep. I've been shuffling around the apartment all morning, trying to make sense of what I saw and heard and how much danger I'm in.
Talia.
A deep voice says, clipping out my name like a command. Every muscle in my body locks up, my entire being frozen in place except for my jackhammering heart.
Let me in if you want to live.
Yeah, right. Only someone who wants to kill you would say that. The man on the other side of the door sighs heavily, as if searching for the right words. I stay huddled up in the corner of the kitchen, peering at the door and silently praying for the molecular structure of the cheap wood to miraculously transform into impenetrable steel. As it is, I have no doubts the stranger could huff and puff and blow this whole building down without much effort. Something about that softens me toward the man outside. If he truly meant me harm, I'd be dead already.
I know you have no reason to trust me, but I give you my word. No harm will come to you under my protection.
He's absolutely right. I have zero reason to trust him. And yet, hearing him say he'll protect me, a spark of hope dares to light up my chest. Tentative though it may be. It's not like I have a lot of options. If he's not here to kill me, someone else will be soon. I'm a sitting duck with nowhere else to go. I have nothing to lose. As I uncurl myself and slowly stand, I search around the small space for something to use as a weapon. I know Thomas keeps a gun around here, but I've never cared enough to look for it. Something silver and shiny draws my attention, and I see one of my large crochet hooks. It's made of metal and has an ergonomic handle. All the better to stab with, I reason. Picking up my weapon of choice, I take a deep breath and roll out my shoulders. I have to be limber in case I need to defend myself. Dragging the tables and chairs away from the thin, cracked door, I realize how vulnerable I am. It takes me all of 30 seconds to shove them out of the way, which means anyone could have easily done the same. Pausing with my hand on the doorknob, I take one last grounding breath and let it out before opening the door. I'm face to face with a broad chest, covered in a sleek black button-up and adorned with a red tie. I tip my head up, up, gasping softly when I'm met with brutally beautiful eyes. They are dark, nearly black, and filled with passion and power. A jagged white scar slices through his left eyebrow, making him look even more severe. His hair is midnight black, shaved close on the sides and left longer on top. A slight stubble litters his chin and cheeks, giving the man a rugged edge to his otherwise pristine appearance. He reaches out for me, but I recoil on instinct and then thrust my crochet hook in his face. "Don't make me use this," I say with a trembling voice, waving the hook in front of him. His eyebrows shoot up to his hairline, and those dark eyes go wide as he stares at the weapon in my hand. The man turns his attention to me, studying me more intently this time. I'm shaking from head to toe, my breaths coming out in short bursts, but I stand my ground. The tall, muscular man with an air of power and authority lifts his hands, palms out, in a sign of surrender. I wasn't expecting that, but I'll take any wins I can get at the moment.
"I'm not here to hurt you,"
he says in his deep, velvety voice. It's almost a whisper, but not quite, like he's trying to calm me down.
"Though it appears the same can't be said for you. I haven't come across such a weapon before. Tell me, how would you use it?"
I can't tell if he's mocking me, but I answer him truthfully. "I could stick it in your eye," I say with more confidence this time, "or poke it in your ear," I add. He nods but doesn't look convinced. "If you're really a threat, I might shove it up your nose and hook out your brain." His left brow, the one with the scar, ticks up slightly in amusement.
"You've thought about this quite a bit,"
he observes. I shrug. I've had to since moving here. The man furrows his brow as if he doesn't like the thought of me living here. Then he snaps out of it, nodding once again.
"While resourceful, I don't know how much good it would do against a gun."
Terror seeps back into my veins, and anxiety wraps around my lungs, making it hard to breathe.
"Not me,"
he's quick to add.
"I promised to protect you, remember?"
I nod, but the words float in and out of my brain.
"But you do have some powerful enemies after what you saw last night."
That's what pushes me over the edge, sending me diving headfirst into a panic attack. I step back, but my feet tangle in one of the discarded kitchen chairs. The man lunges for me, and I let out a pathetic cry as my crochet hook falls to the floor with a clang. The next thing I know, I'm being crushed against the stranger's chest as his arms come around me and hold me close. I try fighting my way out of his embrace, unsure if he's trying to comfort or kidnap me.
"I've got you, Talia,"
he whispers.
"I'm not going to hurt you."
"No," I whimper, tears streaming down my cheeks as I suck in air. I'm not sure what I'm saying no to, but it's the only word I can come up with at the moment.
"Breathe for me,"
he commands softly, never letting me out of his embrace. His low voice, rich timbre, and surprisingly sweet words course through me, loosening the grip of panic. Still, my fight or flight has been engaged since I saw my brother get shot in the head, and my first instinct is to run. I shove against his chest and rear my head back, only to have him cup the back of my neck and tuck my head under his chin.
"You're safe, Talia,"
he murmurs repeatedly as he gently massages my neck.
"Stop fighting me."
Every confusing emotion from the last 12 hours bursts out of me at once, and my tears soak this stranger's shirt as I fall apart in his arms. I have no idea what's going on, only that my life is in ruins, and I'm apparently at the top of a hit list. I haven't had time to process my brother's death, the bloodshed I witnessed, or the things I heard. I'm furious with my brother, yet also coming to terms with the violent way his life ended right in front of my eyes. All these thoughts swirl and clash inside my head as I heave out ugly sobs and collapse into the arms of the tall, dark stranger who showed up on my doorstep. Who are you?" I manage to squeak when the worst of my crying is over.
Romeo.
He states matter-of-factly. I tilt my head back, taking in his sharp features and angular jaw. His dark eyes bore into me with an intensity I feel down to my toes. Squinting my eyes at him, I try to decide if he's telling me the truth, or if this is some messed-up pickup line.
It's a family name.
He continues.
Trust me, I'm no Shakespearean knight in shining armor.
Neither was Romeo. He killed himself when he thought his true love was dead. Then she woke up, saw his lifeless body, and killed herself too. I'm not sure why I felt the need to correct him, but Romeo must find it amusing. His left eyebrow arches slightly, and he gets that same almost playful look in his eyes as when I explained how I could use my crochet hook to end his life.
And people regard that as a love story?
Romeo frowns slightly, and his eyes narrow as he replays my words in his head.
Jesus,
he mutters.
And I thought I had a fucked up view of love.
I'm not sure he meant for me to hear that last part, but I tuck that piece of information away. For what? I'm not sure, but it feels important. I pull myself away from my mystery man, though I feel increasingly vulnerable the further away from him I get. When a crack sounds from right outside my window, I collapse onto the floor, instinctively covering my head with my hands and curling up into a ball. Part of me knows it's not a gunshot, though it wouldn't be the first time I've heard that noise. But I'm hanging onto my sanity by a dangerously thin thread, and I've just been told I have powerful enemies looking for me. I'm shocked when Romeo kneels in front of me, his index finger hooking under my chin and tilting my face toward his. Deep brown eyes search mine as he strokes my throat in a barely there touch.
We don't have much time. I know it's a lot to ask, but you have to trust me, Bella.
I watch his lips form the last word, and my heart shudders in my chest at the almost reverent tone he uses. He's right. I know he's right. Yet this tiny studio apartment is all I have left. Something tells me that once I leave, I'll never be back.
We both know you're not safe here,
Romeo says, holding out his hand for me to take.
But I'll be
safe with you? I whisper, tripping over my words.
I will protect you with my life,
he vows, those dark brown eyes latching onto mine as he clenches his jaw. Everything about this man is severe, from his chiseled physique to his intense stare. I have no choice but to believe him. I peer up at the man who holds my life in his hands, then slide my palm against his and let him help me up. Romeo keeps his fingers wrapped around my hand, his gaze giving nothing away. One thought keeps replaying in my mind. Did I jump out of the frying pan right into the fire?
Chapter 4. Romeo. Her touch ruins me. Her soft skin and tender trust cast a spell over me, and I have a hard time letting go of this angel once she's standing on her own. Green eyes filled with vulnerability blink up at me, and I struggle to take a full breath. What is this woman doing to me? Why do I have the sudden urge to burn the whole fucking world to the ground if it meant she never had to shed another tear? Focus, I reprimand myself. Ripping my gaze from Talia, I take a step back, shuddering at the chill running down my spine. I find I don't like it when I'm not touching her in some way. But I can't dwell on that. First, I need to get her to safety. Then I need to find out what she knows. As for the rest of my insanely possessive thoughts, I'll shove them down into the depths of my blood-stained soul. Pretty young women like Talia don't belong in my world. There's no place for infatuation, especially for the fucking king of the underworld. I know all too well what happens to the unlucky mafioso bastards who get trapped with a woman. My parents were a prime example. They must have been in love once, But by the time I came into the picture, that love was replaced with cold shoulders, formalities, and a life of luxury to make up for a lack of affection. I wipe a hand down my face, snapping myself out of whatever dark place I was in. None of that matters, and I'm not sure why I'm thinking about it now. Pack a bag, I tell Talia, my tone brooking no arguments. She searches around the small space, presumably for a duffel bag, while I peer out the living room window and check the surroundings. I haven't forgotten about the enforcer for the Columbos, but I also know he's likely taking his time to plan Talia's torture to ensure he gets the answers he wants. The thought of that motherfucker putting his filthy hands on Talia makes something in me break loose. A snarl rumbles up from deep in my chest, but I cover it with a cough as best I can. Hurry, I grunt, needing to get this woman out of here before I lose my shit and hunt down our enemy's enforcer. I would do it in a heartbeat with no regrets, but that would make things more complicated and dangerous for Talia. Apparently, my new goal in life is to make sure she's never in harm's way again. Glancing over at the confounding woman making me feel all sorts of uncomfortable things, I notice she has a garbage bag clutched in one hand and is shoveling in all kinds of yarn, hooks, baubles, and craft things I don't recognize. Are you making your own clothes? I say before I can stop myself. I shouldn't care what she brings with her. I promised her protection in exchange for information, but I was planning on placing her in a safe house with a few of my men guarding her. I have a contact in the real estate business who helps me find vacant properties for such occasions, but that doesn't sit right with me anymore, though I'm not letting myself think about why. It can't be jealousy. Preposterous. Just concealing my weapons, she says over her shoulder. My lips pull into a smirk at her sassy response, and something warm blooms in my chest. I think Am I happy that she's comfortable enough around me to joke? It makes no sense. But then again, this whole interaction is throwing me for a loop. The sooner I get out of here, the sooner I can get what I need and figure out what to do with her. Keep her. I shake my head at the thought. Impossible. It would never work. I don't want a relationship, and I sure as fuck don't need love in my life. A few moments later, Talia stands in front of me, holding the garbage bag so tightly that her knuckles are white. She nibbles her bottom lip as she looks down at her feet, which are now adorned with tattered old sneakers that won't stand a chance against the biting cold northeastern winter. Do you have better shoes? A hat and gloves? A coat? I ask with a frown. I want to punch myself in the face when I see her shoulders drop. Talia curls in on herself, shaking her head, no. I reach out on instinct, then pull my hand back. I need to stop touching her. It's becoming an addiction, and I don't know what to do about it. I'll get you set up with everything later today, I tell her, nodding once as I make a note to call Dante and have him work out the details. I can't get attached to her, but I can provide for her in this small way. No, I don't need... Let's go, I say, cutting her off. Her protests are pointless. No woman of mine will walk around in ratty shoes and no coat. Shit. Not that she's mine, per se. She's just under my protection, for now. Motioning for Talia to get behind me, I opened the door, keeping my gun cocked and at my side. Peering into the dirt lot across the street where I saw the Colombo enforcer, I sigh with relief that his car is gone. I'm not sure if he saw me enter Talia's apartment and ran, or if he gave up without a fight, but I don't care. I'm just thankful there won't be any bloodshed in front of the traumatized woman trailing behind me. As I make my way to my car, I keep a keen eye out for anyone staking out this place. I note my surroundings, logging the information away for later. It's been a while since I've been out in the field, getting my hands dirty with tasks such as collecting a witness. But old habits die hard. Every detail is important. It's where you find the devil, after all. A soft warmth wraps around my left hand, and I look down, stunned to see Talia's delicate fingers laced through mine. She's shaking, but her shoulders are square and her chin is up, broadcasting courage and determination, even when she's scared out of her mind. I ignore the sense of pride welling up in my chest at the thought of giving her confidence amid what has undoubtedly been the worst few days of her life. Talia tries to jerk her hand away from me, as if realizing she's holding a stranger's hand, but I don't let her go. Not until I have her settled in the front seat with her seatbelt fastened over her lap. I know she's capable of doing it herself, but she's under my protection. It's now my job to ensure she's secure in every way, including car rides. It's a flimsy excuse to touch her, to be closer to this intoxicating woman. But I don't have time to worry about that. This will all be over soon. Climbing into the driver's seat, I start the car and begin winding my way through the city to the Salvo compound. The trash-filled streets, littered with shacks and condemned buildings, briefly turn into an industrial landscape before giving way to the Brooklyn Bridge. Talia is silent the entire ride, and I glance at her, wondering what she's thinking. She still has the garbage bag in her lap, and her fingers nervously pick at the plastic tie at the top as she stares out the front windshield. I force myself to pay attention to the road instead of letting my eyes follow the slope of her nose or taking in her full curves. She's beautiful in a way I don't understand. A quiet strength resides inside this woman, and it somehow shines through with every blink, every breath, and every word from her lips. "Where are we?" she breathes out, as I pull up to the gate surrounding my house and the compound beyond it. The guard, standing post, nods at me before opening the gate, his eyes lingering on Talia longer than I can stand. I glare at him when he turns his attention to me, and a satisfied huff leaves my chest when I see the color drain from his face. "My home," I tell her matter-of-factly. I expect her to ask a few questions, like who the hell am I, and why do I own a fucking 4-story mansion guarded by a wrought iron fence and 4 heavily armed men? Instead, Talia nods, her inquisitive green eyes taking in every inch of the immaculate garden, stone path, and fountain in the front yard. I probably should have blindfolded her or something. Hell, if she were any other witness, and I had one of my men collect her, she would likely be tied up in the trunk. A sharp pain cracks through my chest, and I cough as I rub the heel of my hand over the spot. Jesus, I'm losing it. My first thought is that I'd rip the head off anyone who shoved my Talia into a trunk. Once I pull my car into the empty spot in my 6-car garage, I hop out and collect Talia and her bag of yarn. I try taking it from her, but she clasps it to her chest like a safety blanket or a cherished stuffed toy. Guiding the gorgeous and terrified woman inside through the back door, I usher her straight into my office. I need to discover what she witnessed so I know how I can protect her. Talia stands in the doorway, shuffling her weight from foot to foot. "Take a seat, Talia," I say in the calmest voice I can muster, "and start from the beginning." She stares at an ornate couch upholstered with deep red velvet, adorned with golden silk embossed pillows, then looks down at her clothes. It takes me a second to figure out what's going through her head, but I realize she thinks she's going to get it dirty. I try not to feel my heart breaking for this young woman. I don't know her story, but I can tell she hasn't had a lot of love or affection in her life. I mean, shit. I haven't either. So I'm not sure why I suddenly want to comfort her and reassure her she can sit anywhere she goddamn pleases. I'm not sure that would help, though. "Come on," I encourage as I take a seat. "Not many people get to enjoy this rare antique couch. It would be a shame for you to pass up the opportunity." A shy smile graces Talia's lips, and my confused cock springs to life. It's so beyond inappropriate, let alone baffling. I can't remember the last time the fucker rose to the occasion. Talia sits a foot away from me, and I barely resist the urge to wrap my arms around her waist and pull her closer. When I see the trepidation and conflict in her eyes, I know I need to give her space for what she has to say. "Tell me what happened last night," I say softly, sitting forward with my elbows on my knees. Talia inhales deeply, and her eyes flutter closed as she exhales. "I knew I shouldn't have gone to that plant so late at night," she starts, her voice barely above a whisper. "But Thomas forgot the dinner I packed, and I wanted to find a back entrance so I could give it to him." I nod, listening to every word and weighing it in my mind. There's no doubt she's telling me the truth. I hardly know this woman, yet I can picture her packing a meal for her brother, who likely doesn't give a shit, and going the extra mile to ensure he gets it. Talia goes on to tell me about Thomas and Martin getting into an argument over missing money, which I make a note to check on later. Her breath hitches as she describes the 3 men who joined them, all of whom undoubtedly work for the Columbos. "It all happened so fast, and yet it felt like an eternity," she murmurs, sniffling slightly before continuing. "They shot Thomas first, and there was so much blood, dark red, seeping over the concrete, coming right for me." She shudders as she trails off, and I find myself placing a hand on her thigh to comfort her. It's a strange instinct to have, comforting someone. Then again, it shouldn't surprise me. This woman is bringing out all sorts of desires I've suppressed for so long. "What happened next?" I ask softly. I remember the first execution I saw. It seared into my blackened soul. I was 11. Talia blinks, then looks down at my hand resting on her leg. She rests her hand over mine and takes a calming breath. We spent the next 10 minutes picking apart the conversation between Martin and the Columbo goons, and somehow Talia ends up curled into my side, her head nestled in the crook of my neck, while my arms rest around her waist. I'm unsure how it happened, but I can't bring myself to scoot away from her. "Thank you for telling me what you saw," I whisper onto the top of her head. Talia doesn't say anything, so I lean back to get a better look at her. A soft snore rises from where she's buried against me, and that same sense of pride from earlier threatens to explode from my chest. She's sound asleep, the full weight of her voluptuous body pressed against me. I take a moment to drink in her features, my fingers finding her silky auburn hair and tucking it behind her ear to give me a better view. Her porcelain cheeks are tinged with pink, and her pouty lips are parted slightly as she takes deep breaths. The poor girl is drained, as if it took every last drop of energy to tell me what she saw. I have no doubt that it did. I still have no idea what I'm going to do with her now I have the information I need, but for now, she needs rest. I stand with Talia in my arms, unreasonably satisfied when she curls up against my chest. Fuck, it feels good having her right here. Her supple curves and soft body pressed against the hard slats of my muscles. As I carry her through my home and up 2 flights of stairs, I contemplate tucking her into my bed. However, I don't want her to assume I want any kind of payment for her protection. Not only would I never disrespect her like that, but I don't deal in that kind of business. Neither do my men. Ultimately, I decide to place her in the room next to mine. I pull the blankets back before gently laying Talia on the queen-sized canopy bed. I carefully slip her sneakers off, tossing them into the hallway so I can throw them out with the garbage. She'll have a new wardrobe when she wakes up. Tucking the comforter around her, I have a difficult time not smelling her hair or kissing the side of her neck where I see her pulse thrumming. It takes considerable effort to tear myself away from Talia, but I manage to walk the 15 steps into the hallway before closing the door. I rest my forehead against the cool, polished wood, wondering what the hell I've gotten myself into.
Chapter 5. Talia. I roll over in bed, my eyes still heavy with sleep, as I gather the blankets and secure them around me. The soft silk sheets are cool and comforting against my skin, which is the first sign I'm in an unfamiliar place. Freezing, I try to remember where I am and how I got here as I slowly blink my eyes open. I'm surrounded by dark gray silk sheets, a warm, heavy comforter, and a mountain of plush pillows scattered about. I cautiously sit up, taking a moment to stretch my sore, aching muscles. The bed is gorgeous, with 4 posts and a sheer white canopy draped between them. I feel like a princess as I settle back into the luxurious nest I somehow woke up in. The small smile tugging at my lips drops as the memory of the last few days seeps into my fantasy. Gruesome images flash through my brain, skyrocketing my heart rate. Thomas was shot. I watched him bleed out. I have nothing and no one left except the mysterious Romeo, who promised me his protection. I try taking a calming breath, only to choke on the panic crawling up my throat. Powerful men are looking for me and want me dead because of what I saw. I'm pretty sure I can trust Romeo, for now at least. I already told him what he wants to know, though. Maybe I should have strung him along and given him a reason to keep me under his roof. I wasn't exactly thinking clearly when the massive man knocked on my door earlier this morning. In fact, I don't remember coming into this room at all. My last memory is telling Romeo about the conversation I heard between my brother, Martin, and the 3 men who showed up. My face flushes when I think about the way his hand stretched out over my thigh, grounding me yet making me jumpy and tingly at the same time. I faintly remember leaning against Romeo when I finally confessed everything that had been tangling up my mind. As the last word slipped from my lips, the final drop of energy evaporated, and I needed his strength to hold me up. He must have carried me into this room. My body flushes at the thought, but I immediately dismiss it. I don't know much about Romeo other than he has some sort of stake in Martin and my brother's death, and he lives in a freaking mansion with armed security guards. A man like that doesn't busy himself taking care of damsels in distress. I'm sure he got whatever he needed and told one of his presumably dozens of staff members to find a room to stick me in. Still, I can't help but close my eyes and breathe in the remnants of his sandalwood and spice scent. It clings to me and calms me in a way I don't understand. My stomach makes an angry sound, alerting me that I haven't eaten in almost 24 hours. I'm not sure what to do with myself, or if I'm welcome here anymore. For all I know, I fell asleep in Romeo's office and he put me somewhere until I woke up and he could kick me out. Something tells me he isn't like that, however. If he wanted me gone, he wouldn't have offered his protection, right? And he wouldn't take me deeper into his opulent home and let me dirty up his pristine furniture. Speaking of, I groan as my fingers attempt to comb through my knotted hair. I'm suddenly aware of every grain of dirt resting on my skin, every particle of dust and grime, and every salty tear that has dried on my face over the last day and a half. Springing from the bed, I'm terrified of leaving traces of myself and my mess on the expensive bedding. I notice an ensuite bathroom and make my way over there, pausing when I see several outfits laid out on a couch across the room. I'm drawn to the pastel colors and soft-looking material of a cozy-looking sweater, and my fingers brush over the fabric in a barely-there touch. Out of curiosity, I examine the tag, surprised to find it's my size. My eyes drift to the rest of the clothes, and I'm shocked to see a variety of shirts, dresses, pajamas, and even a coat, all in my size. There's a beautiful gift bag with pink tissue paper sticking out of the top, and I can't help but peek inside. My eyes go wide when I see all kinds of silk and lace panties and bras. With heated cheeks, I examine their tags, my face turning fuchsia when I realize that these, too, are all my size. Romeo mentioned that he'd get me a coat when he saw I didn't have one, but I assumed he meant he'd lend me one of his old ones or something. The coat is sapphire blue and filled with down feathers. The hood is removable and lined with fur, and it's the softest, warmest, most expensive thing anyone has ever given me. As for the rest of the clothes, I had no idea the man was going to order a whole new wardrobe for me. Is he expecting me to pay him back? He has to know I don't have any money. My stomach growls more insistently this time, and I quickly decide to shower and throw on some of my new clothes. If I'm going to be indebted to Romeo forever, I might as well look good while doing it. 20 minutes later, I feel human again. I haven't had a hot shower in longer than I can remember. The shower in my apartment was lukewarm at best, and that only lasted for the first 5 minutes. Don't even get me started on the satiny body wash and delicate floral shampoo and conditioner. I don't think my hair has ever been this shiny or my skin this smooth. I also had no idea how scratchy my cotton blend shirt and ancient jeans were until slipping into a pair of fitted leggings and the cashmere sweater I was first drawn to. I've learned that good things don't last long for me, so I plan to enjoy this slice of the high life. After slipping on a pair of thick wool socks, I open the door enough to poke my head through. The hallway stretches endlessly to the left and right, so I pick a direction and start walking, passing numerous closed doors. I wonder how many rooms this place has, and what Romeo does with them all. Eventually, I find a staircase. Placing a trembling hand on the dark wood of the railing, I descend, following my hunger as it hopefully leads me to the kitchen. A few moments later, I wander through what appears to be a study of sorts, and then a dining room. On the other side is a door leading to a massive kitchen with high-tech, restaurant-grade appliances. No one is in sight, which I appreciate. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to stay in my room, but my hunger won out in the end. Surely Romeo will understand. Eyeing up the fridge, I decide against it, not wanting to use the microwave or oven to heat anything. Bingo, I say to myself when I spot what I hope is a pantry. I make my way over to find some crackers or cereal or something. Like everything in this house, the pantry is huge and well-stocked. It's nearly as big as my room upstairs and filled with enough food to feed an army. I'm busy scanning the shelves for something to grab and take upstairs when a door across the hallway swings open and slams against the wall. Gasping, I hold my breath and stand completely still, praying that whoever it is doesn't come into the kitchen.
"Jesus, Armando, take it easy," comes Romeo's deep voice. "Sorry, boss," comes the reply. "Don't know my own strength." Romeo grunts, and then another man speaks up. "Are you clear on your mission?" He clips out. "Yes, Dante, same as every mission," Armando answers. "Crack some skulls, get some names, and further the DeSalvo reign."
DeSalvo. That sounds familiar, but where have I heard it before?
"Smartass,"
Dante mutters.
"Emphasis on smart. Only the best for Romeo DeSalvo. Right, boss?"
Boss. It's not that strange, I suppose, but it's the second time Armando has referred to Romeo as boss. I'm on the verge of putting the pieces of a very confounding puzzle together, but I don't have the original picture to work from. The men shuffle further down the hallway, their voices still raised enough for me to hear.
"I don't know what you saw in him or why he's made it so far up the ranks,"
the man referred to as Dante says.
"I can hear you, you know,"
Armando sing-songs.
"And yet you're still here and not out doing your job. Enough,"
Romeo commands. Silence blankets the entire floor.
"Armando, you have your orders. Dante, you know not to question who I bring into the family.
Yes, boss. Both men mutter. It's the last of the conversation I can make out before it fades away completely. Family. Boss. DeSalvo. Didn't Martin accuse my brother of working for the DeSalvos? He made it seem like that would be a fate worse than death, though in the end, death came for him anyway. The realization of whose house I'm in hits me square in the chest. I grow lightheaded, and little dots float in and out of my vision as I place my hands on the shelf in front of me to keep from collapsing on the floor. Romeo DeSalvo, of the DeSalvo crime family. A freaking mafia man. A criminal mastermind. What the fuck have I gotten myself into? The pantry shrinks in size, the walls closing in as my breathing grows shallow. Once again, my world is thrown into chaos, and I don't know who to trust, if anyone. I close my eyes and force the panic down, taking a few deep breaths to get the oxygen flowing again. Loosening my grip on the wooden shelf, I stretch my cramped fingers and try to come up with a plan. First things first, I need to find my way back to my room. Summoning all my courage, I slowly open the pantry door and peek around the kitchen, relieved to see the coast is clear. Carefully and quietly, I step out of the pantry and gently close the door before tiptoeing across the room and into the hallway. I'm almost to the winding staircase when a hand clasps my shoulder from behind and spins me around. Terror rattles through me, and I let out a silent scream as my back is pressed against a wall. Familiar, dark eyes meet mine, and even though I can feel my pulse pounding against the side of my neck, some part of me is comforted by Romeo's sandalwood scent.
"Spying on me?"
he whispers, half of his face cast in shadows. Romeo lifts his left brow in question, and my eyes are drawn to the scar there. God, this man is all sharp angles and darkness, yet I know down to my very soul he wouldn't hurt me. I shake my head no, then gulp as I blink at him. Romeo's fingertips trace along the neckline of my sweater, making me tremble, though I'm not sure if it's from fear or anticipation. Every part of me is extra sensitive, seemingly aware of his presence on a molecular level.
"I love this on you,"
he says, mostly to himself as he continues to run his fingers along the scooped neckline of the shirt I'm wearing. Romeo shakes his head slightly as if remembering to focus.
"What exactly did you hear, Bella?"
Nothing, I stutter. Romeo's brown eyes snap to mine, and a smirk twists one side of his lips. He leans forward, his lips barely grazing the shell of my ear.
"You're a terrible liar, Talia."
I automatically tip my head to the side to give him more access, apparently starving for any attention this man is willing to offer. My back arches as he scrapes his stubble against the sensitive skin of my neck, my body rolling forward and seeking contact with his. Romeo lets out a tortured groan, resting both hands on my hips and anchoring me in place while he presses his large frame against me.
"I'll ask you again."
He hums, the sound low and gravelly in his throat.
"What did you hear?"
I squirm under his attention. My hands find his chest and travel up, 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 studying every chiseled muscle along the way. I have no idea what I'm doing, only that I can't stop. Spreading out my fingers over the flat of his chest, I peer up at him, my breath catching in my throat when I see the feral look in his eyes. Just your name, I breathe. Romeo narrows his eyes at me, letting me know he's not buying it. Your last name, I clarify. He says with a nod. And that scares you? I'm not sure how to answer because, yes, it should scare me. But truthfully, some twisted part of me likes having a monster on my side. I've been pitted against them my whole life, and now I have the biggest, baddest one promising me his protection. Are you in the Mafia? I whisper, nibbling on my bottom lip as I wait for his answer. Romeo chuckles darkly, the deep vibrations rolling through his body and into mine. Every nerve ending sizzles and pops as his body moves against me. I am the Mafia, little girl, he rasps, dragging his nose and lips down the column of my throat as his hands tighten around my hips. He nips at my pulse point, causing me to shudder and let out a breathy cry. Romeo presses his warm, wet tongue against the sore spot, licking once before placing a kiss on top. I shouldn't be this turned on. I shouldn't feel this all-consuming pressure in my lower belly or the incessant throbbing between my thighs. My hands ball into fists, and I clutch Romeo's shirt as he scrapes his teeth down the other side of my neck. You taste too good, Bella, he whispers into my skin. My body is buzzing, my breath caught in my lungs as my eyes flutter open and closed. This man is barely touching me, and yet I swear to God I'd melt into a puddle of lust if he weren't pinning me to the wall. It's okay, Angel, he murmurs. You need never fear me. I am a powerful man, yes, and the commander of a mighty army. But I will only ever use my strength to keep you safe. Do you believe me? Romeo leans back slightly, and I sway toward him before catching myself. I'm surprised when he cradles my face in his large hand, making me feel so precious with his tender touch. Brown eyes lock onto mine, but for the first time I see something other than the carefully constructed persona Romeo projects. He lets me in for a brief moment. Whether or not he knows it, Romeo is showing me his heart. This man is filled with contradictions, but his word is his bond. I know that to be true in an instant. He's loyal, fierce, and crushingly lonely, though he'd never admit it to anyone. Still, he's a criminal. He's involved in my brother's death somehow, or at the very least, he knows more than he's letting on. I shouldn't trust him. I shouldn't let him touch me like this. I shouldn't feel safe and seen, and I definitely shouldn't be so freaking turned on. I want to. I finally answer. I want to believe you. I know, sweet Talia. Life hasn't been kind to you. I nod, once again caught up in his hypnotic gaze. Romeo peers into the depths of my being, soaking up everything about this shared moment. Someone clears their throat and I jump back, only to bang my head against the wall. Romeo growls and glares at the man who appeared a few feet away. Sorry to interrupt, boss. The man I now recognize as Dante says. His sharp eyes flit from Romeo to me, then back to Romeo. We've got places to be. Romeo straightens and takes a large step away from me, straightening his shirt and jacket. One look in his deep brown eyes, and I know the mask is firmly back in place. Whoever he was a moment ago is gone, and he's back to being in control. I know, he snaps at Dante. I'm tying up loose ends. Dante grunts as my heart sinks. I'm the loose end. I don't know what else I would be, and I feel like a fool for getting caught up in Romeo's games. That's all this is. It has to be. I slip away from the wall and make a break for the stairs, taking 2 at a time.
Talia!
Romeo calls after me, but I don't stop. I'll be in my room, I tell him over my shoulder, unsure what else to say. I'm a naive idiot, a stupid little girl with a misplaced and totally inappropriate crush. Romeo mutters something, and Dante offers a half-hearted apology before the two walk out of sight. Sprinting to my room, I shut the door and rest my back against it, before sliding down and sprawling out on the carpet. What the hell was that? And what am I supposed to do now?
Chapter 6. Romeo. Brent Carmichael was voted in as the replacement for Martin, Dante informs me as he paces my office. Leaning back in my chair, I cross my arms over my chest as I wait for him to continue. My second-in-command is nothing if not detail-oriented. It's almost pathological at this point, and it'd be annoying as hell if it didn't make him so damn good at his job. Sure enough, Dante rattles off Mr. Carmichael's resume, the names of his family members, which grade school he attended, and every known address he's had in the last 20 years. It's all good information, and as I look around the room at my most trusted men, I know they are listening and storing it away for later. Good thing, too, since I haven't been able to concentrate since Talia ran away from me yesterday afternoon. What the hell was I thinking? Cornering her like that. Touching her like that. Fuck. Tasting her sugary sweet skin and feeling her pulse beneath my lips as I pressed them to her sensitive flesh. But we all know Martin's death isn't the real issue here, Dante continues. His eyes dart to mine, silently asking permission to brief everyone on the latest update. I give him a subtle nod. Columbos again? Armando grunts. The massive man leans forward from his sitting position on the couch in my office, resting his elbows on his knees. I knew I shouldn't have given that last fucker a warning. Should have ended his pathetic life then and there. Dante stops his fidgeting and glares at Armando. The two of them butt heads all the time, but I need both men in my inner circle. Dante is calculating and methodical, while Armando would rather bash in faces first and ask questions later. Left in Dante's hands, nothing would get done. And if the decisions were solely based on Armando's wishes, we'd all be dead in a bloody war by this time next week. It's all about balancing power and delegating tasks to the right person. Believe it or not, the answer to everything isn't punch it until it stops talking, Dante snaps. We could try it on you first and see if we get the desired results, Armando fires back. He's mostly joking to get a rise from the admittedly uptight Dante, but I have neither the time nor patience for their squabbling today. I clear my throat, and both men fall silent as their eyes meet mine. We know the Columbos were trying to get Martin to go into business with them instead of us. He fucked up and got himself and his accomplice killed. Brent is a wild card, but the DeSalvo captain of that area, Valentino, is working on a deal with him. The bigger problem is the motherfucking Columbos thinking they can waltz onto our territory and take over our contracts. Yes, boss. Sorry, boss. I grunt, then nod at Dante to keep going. He knows I'm distracted and have other things on my mind, but like the good second-in-command he is, he doesn't question me. At least not in front of the other men. 10 minutes later, however, the room is empty, aside from Dante and me. It's that woman, isn't it? He says, as soon as we're alone. I glare at him, but don't deny the accusation. She's a loose end, I tell him yet again. The words taste bitter on my lips, and my stomach twists into a knot when I think about Talia's face when I said the same thing yesterday. Yeah, and I believe you as much now as I did when you first said it, Dante counters. Come on, Romeo. What's really going on? I sigh, rubbing a hand down my face. Dante is a good man, the most loyal I've ever met. Still, can I trust him with these insane thoughts plaguing me? I don't know how to feel, let alone how to articulate the spell Talia has cast over me. She's under my protection, I hedge, buying time to find the right words. Dante narrows his eyes, but thankfully his concentration is broken when his phone buzzes in his pocket. He takes it out, frowning when he looks at the screen. "Your father?" I venture, noting the irritation and heaviness in his gaze. Dante is an extremely private man. We all are in this business, and I don't know much about his family besides his father being unwell and having been so for some time. Dante grunts, typing away furiously on his phone. "The new nurse," he mutters. "She has some frou-frou ideas about meditation and yoga to help my father manage his pain." "Interesting," I offer, glad to have the spotlight off me. "No, it isn't," Dante clips out. "I'm not paying her to sit cross-legged and chant. I'm paying her so I don't have to deal with my old man." I nod, though my second-in-command doesn't seem to notice. He groans and shakes his head when his phone buzzes with a returning text. Dante turns to leave my office, and I'm almost in the clear when he looks at me over his shoulder, his dark eyes meeting mine. "I'm not sure what kind of infatuation you have with that woman, but it's my duty to remind you what this life is really like, and what it would be like for any romantic partners." He stumbles over the last few words, his distaste for relationships evident in his tone. "There's a reason we're both single." I grunt in acknowledgement, though I don't say anything. He's right, of course, but he doesn't need to know that. Dante gives me a final warning look before focusing his anger on the yoga-loving nurse he's been texting all morning. After Dante shuts my office door, I get buried in work. Despite what Hollywood would have you believe, the life of a Mafia king involves a lot more phone calls and business appointments than clandestine meetings and territory wars. The dirty work is left to those beneath me, while I sit at the top, untouchable and lonely. No, alone, but not lonely. At least not until one little Miss Talia Brooks showed up in my life. Bright green eyes fill my vision, surrounded by auburn hair. I swear I can smell her rosemary and peppermint scent. Try as I might to shove thoughts of the voluptuous vixen from my mind, she remains ever present. Unfolding myself from my desk chair, I take a moment to stretch out the kinks in my neck and back. I've been hunched over my desk for hours now, and blown right through lunch and dinner. No wonder everything aches. I close out my computer and put everything on lockdown before heading downstairs to my home gym. A few rounds with the sand-filled punching bag should ease some of my tension. Stripping down to a pair of sweatpants, I forgo the boxing gloves and land a crushing blow to the back. It rattles in its chains, absorbing the hit along with my pent-up energy. Over and over, I let out my frustration, my confusion, and my chaotic emotions, one swing at a time, until I'm drenched in sweat. "Fuck," I exhale, holding the punching bag between my palms as I rest my sweaty forehead on the cool surface. My shoulders heave with labored breaths, and my heart hammers against my rib cage in a staccato rhythm. When my breathing has somewhat returned to normal, I grab a towel from the shelf in the corner, wiping down my face and chest. I have every intention of going back to my room, showering, and ordering a late dinner before retiring to bed. Yet I somehow find myself approaching Talia's room, my feet shuffling forward with a mind of their own. Her door is cracked open slightly, and like the predator I am, I fade into the shadows as I continue my hunt. Talia is propped up in bed, surrounded by several balls of yarn, throw pillows, and a pile of blankets. She's busy crocheting something tiny in her hands. I can't explain my need to find out what it is, or my insane jealousy that she's caressing the yarn instead of me. "Jesus," I mutter, as I step closer to the ray of sunshine beaming from inside the guest room. Her reddish-brown hair is gathered to one side in a soft braid, her cheeks dusted with freckles and a slight blush. I watch as Talia nibbles her bottom lip and tilts her head to the side, examining what appears to be a little stuffed dog in her hands. Adorable, precious, ethereal. All words I've never used to describe another human being, but Talia epitomizes each one, with her slightly upturned nose, flushed cheeks, and green eyes narrowed in concentration. She looks like a delicate little angel weaving magic and happiness into her current crochet project. I move forward, then stop, squeezing my hands into fists at my sides. I want to scoop her up, cradle her against my chest, and finally, fucking finally, claim her sweetness. Dante's words echo through my head, giving me pause. It's my duty to remind you what this life is like, and what it would be like for any romantic partners. Talia is a beacon of innocence, who fucking crochets stuffed toy animals. She's shy and beautiful and precious, far too precious for a man like me to know how to handle. She doesn't belong in my world. She doesn't belong with me. I grunt as the tightness in my chest grows to an unbearable level. Talia freezes, causing me to do the same. Slowly, so slowly, she lifts her head, those emerald eyes drawn to mine as if following some invisible string. She doesn't startle, doesn't gasp, doesn't seem frightened or freaked out that I'm staring at her. She simply blinks, and her gorgeous eyes drink me in. I forgot I'm only wearing sweatpants, and I suddenly feel exposed and vulnerable in a wholly unfamiliar way. Our eyes remain locked, and Talia's gaze turns inquisitive as she sets down the yarn and crochet hook. In slow motion, she swings one leg over the edge of the bed, and then the other, approaching as if I'm a wild animal. When she stands, something in me snaps back to reality. I take a step back, spin on my heel, and sprint to my room next door, shutting the door with a bang. Leaning against the solid oak, I bury my head in my hands, trying to keep my racing thoughts from spilling out. I don't know how to talk to her or what to say, yet I can't let her go. For now, it has to be enough that she's under my protection.
Chapter 7. Talia. One more stitch, and done. I whisper to myself in the early hours of the morning. Reaching over to grab my small scissors on the nightstand, I snip the yarn and weave the end back into the previous stitches to hide it. I lean against the headboard of my luxurious bed and admire my handiwork. It took me all night to finish this project, but it's not like I was going to get much sleep anyway. Between nightmares about my brother's execution, the uncertainty of my future, and the big, brooding Mafia king brushing me off and ignoring me the last 2 days, my racing thoughts have made for restless nights. Aside from being lonely, I can't complain about how I've been treated during my stay with Romeo. Not only is my room equipped with a big screen TV and all the streaming channels, but I also have a full ensuite bathroom with a clawfoot tub and a freaking towel warmer rack. I didn't even know that was an option, and here it is, sitting in a guest room that, as far as I can tell, has been unoccupied for a long time before I showed up. Meals are delivered to my room 3 times a day, as well as a small snack and a cup of tea around 3 in the afternoon. I've tried talking to the older woman who drops off the food, but she either doesn't hear me or doesn't care to respond. The first day I was here, I was able to knock out all the orders in the queue for my online shop, Cute Crochet Creatures. I even made little beds for each animal and added them for free, so hopefully I'll have some happy customers who want to keep doing business with me. I was alone the second day, and my anxiety kicked into high gear. Am I a prisoner here? Romeo never told me I had to stay in my room, but he didn't seem too pleased when he found me sneaking around the kitchen. Plus, it's not like I want to waltz around the mansion of a crime lord all willy-nilly. Who knows what conversations I might overhear? I learned my lesson about the eavesdropping. Thank you very much. I run the tips of my fingers over the small crochet stitches, letting the feeling ground me back into this moment. I didn't have a pattern for this project, only a vision of what I wanted. It turned out pretty adorable, if I do say so myself. I just hope Romeo likes it. My heart kicks against my ribcage, causing the butterflies in my stomach to swarm. God, I'm pathetic. I keep replaying the last thing I heard Romeo say. I'm a loose end to tie up. I'm the leftovers from a problem far beneath his pay grade. I'm inconsequential. Then why hasn't he tossed you out yet? My unhelpful brain asks. I've been wrestling with that question all night, which is why I decided to crochet away my angst in the first place. Romeo promised me his protection. But for how long? Am I supposed to stay here indefinitely? And do what with my time? Will he eventually tire of having me around and send me on my way? Closing my eyes, I take a few calming breaths, forcing the whirlwind of unanswered questions to cease with each inhale and exhale. Dark brown eyes fill my mind, sharp, exquisite, and tinged with unbearable sadness, just like the night he waited outside my door, watching me crochet. I can't explain it, but I sensed his presence before I saw him. Every cell in my body was aware of him, every nerve ending firing the longer he stood there, looming in the doorway. I could only see what the light from my small bedside lamp illuminated, but I could tell he was shirtless, breathless, too. My eyes wandered down the contours of his physique, rippling with muscles, tattoos, and old wounds. I wanted to ask him if his scars still hurt, or if covering them up with ink helped numb the pain. I wanted to reach out and smooth my hands over the canvas of his skin, tracing his tattoos, as he told me the story behind each one. I cautiously moved toward the confounding man of secrets and sorrows, but he got spooked and ran away. It's almost laughable that Romeo DeSalvo, revered don of the DeSalvo crime family, could be spooked by little old me. But I don't have any other word for it. He was like a panicked bunny rabbit caught in the crosshairs. Who made you afraid of kindness? I wonder for the 100th time since that evening. Something in his eyes revealed a truth I'm not sure even Romeo is aware of. It's obvious he doesn't trust anyone, and probably for a good reason. That night, however, the longing in his soul was so clear. He wants to be seen, to be known, possibly even to be loved. He just doesn't think he deserves it. Romeo's aching soul was revealed, and I wanted nothing more than to cradle it in my hands and promise him he was safe with me, like he keeps promising I'm safe with him. He ran away before I could say anything, though, and I haven't seen him since. I want to help him, to ease the heartache he's been carrying around for so long, but I don't have much at my disposal. Just yarn and a few crochet hooks. Sighing, I look at the clock on the nightstand, seeing it's past 6 a.m. I suppose now is a good time as any to deliver my gift to Romeo. Not face-to-face, of course. I don't even know where to find him, let alone what to say to the man. I get out of bed and throw a robe over my pajama shorts and tank top, hoping I won't run into anyone this early in the morning. Gathering up my gift and all of my courage, I open the bedroom door and peer out into the dark hallway. Empty, like I had hoped. My plan is to leave the present on Romeo's desk, or possibly in front of his office door if he keeps everything locked up at night. It's such a small thing, and he'll probably think it's silly, but my customers tell me my little crochet creations always brighten their days. That's what I want to give Romeo. A reason to smile. As I tiptoe down this spiral staircase, I question my decision-making skills. Is it a good idea to be sneaking around this place? The last time I tried doing something nice for someone, I witnessed a terrible crime and put my life in danger. Do I have a death wish or something? Still, my feet move forward despite my brain's protests. When I reach the bottom of the stairs, it takes a moment to remember which way the office is. I was only there once when I arrived at the Salvo compound. A memory of that day floods my mind. Romeo was so gentle with me, encouraging me to sit, resting his hand on my knee when I broke down, and holding me while I told him everything I had witnessed. There's so much goodness, so much kindness buried deep inside. He just needs a reason to show it. Gliding along the hardwood floor, I let the cool surface calm me and refocus my thoughts. I'll pop into Romeo's office, set down the little present, then hightail it back to Talia. I squeak at the raspy voice, startled when I look up to see Romeo himself sitting at his desk. It's only 6 a.m, yet he's dressed in a crisp black suit and white button-up, though he's not wearing a tie. Must be casual Friday or something.
What are you doing here?
He grunts, furrowing his brow. I'm about to tell him I got lost and sprint back up to my room, but Romeo stands from his desk, holding his hand out to welcome me inside.
Sit,
he commands. He closes his eyes, a flustered look taking over his features. I didn't think a man like Romeo could be caught off guard, but it appears I've done the impossible.
If you want,
he adds. I relax at his tone, finally understanding that he's trying to soften his usual gruffness for me. That thought has heat rising to my cheeks and trickling down my spine, making me aware of every single one of his movements. It's okay, I won't be long, I tell him as he walks around his desk, coming to a stop in front of me. I tilt my head back, way back, to meet his gaze. Sandalwood and spice permeate my senses, and the heat from his closeness warms me all the way down to my core. Are you always up this early? I ask, my voice breathless for some reason. Romeo doesn't say anything for a moment, his deep brown eyes flitting between mine. He's trying to decide if I'm worthy of the truth. I hold my breath, begging him to trust me.
I couldn't sleep.
He finally answers, his dark gaze never leaving mine. His words are heavy with exhaustion, and I know he's telling me the truth. It's a small win, but I'll take it. Do you have trouble sleeping a lot? Romeo shakes his head, and his eyes wander to the part in my robe before darting back up to meet mine.
No, Bella.
He finally answers, his voice low and raspy.
In all my years as a made man, I've rested easy, despite the bloodshed and horrors I've inflicted on this city.
I watch his lips form each word, and though his confessions should startle me, it only draws me closer to him.
But then you came into my life and...
He cuts himself off, clearing his throat and taking a step back. I sway back and forth, his sudden absence leaving me bereft.
What are you doing up at this hour?
Romeo asks, leaning against his desk. He crosses his arms over his chest, trying to close himself off from me. But it's too late. I know his secret now, though I'm not sure what to do with it. Couldn't sleep either, I answer, squeezing my fingers around the crocheted gift in my hand. Romeo frowns, but I press forward before I lose my courage altogether. So I made these. For you. Here. I shoved the 2 crochet skulls awkwardly into Romeo's chest, watching as his eyes grow wide in confusion. The 2 little skulls sit facing each other in the palm of his massive hand. One has a scar over its left eye socket, right where Romeo's scar is. The other is wearing a crown of red and black roses. I thought they were cute. And yes, Some part of me was fantasizing about the scarred skull and the rose skull being an adorable goth couple representative of us. But obviously, that's all in my head. Looking at my gift now, I feel small and silly. Romeo is a Mafia king. His world is filled with violence, blood, and power. What is he going to do with two tiny, stupid crochet skulls? On second thought, I rushed to say, fumbling to grab the pathetic offering. They're mine. Romeo grunts, closing his hand and yanking it away from me so I can't reach it. I'm keeping them forever. This man, even when he's being ridiculously sweet, he's still a growly beast. I can't hide my smile as Romeo uncurls his hand and studies each skull individually. He traces the scar with his fingertip, and the corner of his lips twitch in an almost smile. When his eyes finally meet mine once more, they are filled with vulnerability. I don't understand, he murmurs to himself. No one has ever given me anything without wanting something in return. My heart breaks for him. Romeo is 6.5 feet of pure muscle and sin, yet the darkness in his soul evaporates the longer his brown eyes study mine. I sway closer to the enigmatic man, everything in me needing to comfort him, to show him the world isn't as cruel as he's experienced. I rest my hand on his chest, right over his heart, surprised to find it racing. Romeo closes his eyes and tilts his head back, breathing in this moment, this connection between us. I just wanted to give you a reason to smile, I whisper. A tortured sound rumbles up from his throat, and a fierce, feral glow emanates from his nearly black gaze when he lowers his head. You're too good for me, he rasps. I'll ruin you. Or maybe I'm perfect for you, I counter, unsure where this confidence is coming from. Maybe we'll heal each other. Romeo tentatively reaches out, tucking a few strands of hair behind my ear before trailing his fingertips down my neck. I shudder at the barely there touch, tilting my head up to give him better access. Every time this man touches me, my body cries out for more. I tried staying away from you, he rasps, those dark eyes softening as they follow the tender caresses of his fingertips. Tried protecting you from myself and my life. You can protect us from everything else in this world, but I want to be the one to keep your heart safe. Don't hide from me anymore, I whisper, my eyes locking with his. Romeo slowly wraps his hand around the front of my throat in a gentle yet firm grasp and pulls me closer, our lips inches apart. He closes his eyes and inhales deeply, letting the breath out with a contained growl. When he opens his eyes, they are filled with a need that matches mine. I can't live another second without knowing how sweet you taste, he murmurs right before squeezing my throat and closing the distance between us. Romeo claims my mouth, stealing my first kiss and giving me more pleasure than I ever imagined. He pries my lips apart and pushes his tongue inside my mouth, licking and sucking on my tongue at a desperate, almost frantic pace. I moan and press my thighs together to relieve some of the unbearable pressure building up between my legs. Romeo's other hand drifts over my hip and grips my ass, squeezing my sensitive flesh. Hard. I gasp into his mouth and automatically roll my hips against his. He groans, trailing the hand at my neck down my body and into my open robe, cupping my breast and pinching my nipple through the thin tank top. I cry out, breaking our kiss as I tip my head back, exposing my throat to Romeo's greedy mouth. He scrapes his teeth down my neck and sucks a super sensitive spot below my ear. Fuck. he mutters into my skin, trailing kisses lower and lower until he's nipping at the tops of my breasts.
I can't get enough of you. Knew I'd be addicted if I gave in.
Romeo trails off, his nose and lips tracing a line from my breasts to my neck, where he nips my pulse point before licking away the sting. I'm a trembling, wanton mess, and I know for sure I'd collapse if not for Romeo's large, capable hands holding me up. He rests his forehead on mine, our heavy breaths mingling and slowing down little by little.
Sweet Talia,
he whispers, stroking a hand down my spine while the other combs through my hair.
Can I thank you properly for my gift?
What do you mean? I whisper, a lightning bolt of pleasure zapping through my veins and traveling to my core. Romeo gives me a devilish smirk, leaning forward and brushing his lips against my ear.
Can I taste you everywhere, Bella? I want to kiss every inch of your flesh and feel you shake with pleasure as I slide my tongue between your thighs.
Oh, God. I moan as his hands open my robe and push the fabric off my shoulders, letting it pool at my feet.
Tell me to stop, and I will.
He grits, though he sounds like he's in pain. I have no doubt that Romeo could overpower me and take whatever he wants, but I know he would never harm me. Don't stop, I whisper. Don't ever stop.
Jesus fuck,
he groans.
What you do to me?
He takes my lips in a searing kiss, the passion and need overwhelming me in the most intoxicating way. I fist the sides of his shirt, pulling him closer, needing more of his body rubbing against mine. Romeo breaks our kiss only to nibble and lick his way down my body. Staring down at him, I can't help but feel powerful as the head of the Salvo crime family kneels before me, practically salivating as he stares at my core.
Tell me how much you want it,
he commands, his thumbs massaging little circles of the insides of my thighs. So much, I stutter.
More,
he growls, cupping my pussy and rubbing lightly back and forth. God, it feels incredible, and yet it's not enough. He's not touching me where I need him most. Please, Romeo, I need you to touch me. I manage to breathe. Everywhere, I ache for you. I beg, my breath catching in my throat as I mindlessly rub myself against him.
Such a good girl,
Romeo praises, his tone dark and filled with satisfaction.
And good girls get exactly what they ask for.
Chapter 8. Romeo. I rub my nose against the fabric covering her pussy and groan when I smell her arousal. I can feel her juices soaking through the material and wetting the tip of my nose as I nuzzle deeper into her. I know I'm crossing a line, but I can't hold back. Can't contain my obsession, my addiction to this woman. One taste and I was hooked. Once I finally sink inside her sweetness, I'll never be able to let her go. She shakes with anticipation as I caress her curves, anchoring her in place so I can worship her properly. Romeo, she gasps when I replace my nose with my tongue, licking the wet fabric and then sucking on it. When I can't stand it anymore, I hook my thumbs into the waistband of her panties and little sleep shorts, pulling them down in one swift move. She steps out of them and spreads her legs wider for me, causing a growl to rumble up from deep in my chest. It's all the permission I need. I spread her pussy lips with my thumbs, which allows me to see her pretty pink folds, glistening with her juices. I can't wait another second. I dive right into her, lapping at her clit, spearing my tongue into her tight little hole, and nipping at her outer lips. Her taste hits my tongue, the flavor exploding in my mouth and making me crazy with need. She's fucking delicious, and I know I'll be on my knees like this for her every damn day. My hands slide up her curvy body and hold her by her hips, keeping her steady as her legs tremble. Talia moans loudly when I glide one of her legs over my shoulder, opening her up even more for me. Lean against the desk, my beautiful girl, I tell her, my voice deeper than I've ever heard it before. She obeys instantly, and my cock strains against the fabric of my pants, leaking pre-cum like a motherfucker. I'm so hard it hurts, each beat of my heart making me throb and ache even more for my sweet and sexy Talia. She tangles her fingers in my hair, she grips me tightly and grinds herself against my face. I growl and lick her clit over and over until my tongue is numb. My sweet, filthy angel is riding my face like a goddess, her hips jerking, her eyes closed, her head thrown back in ecstasy as she cries out my name. I scrape my teeth over her little bundle of nerves and her muscles lock up, full of tension that so desperately needs to be released. I suck on her clit, biting down one last time, and Talia lets go of every fucking thing as she comes on my face. I lap up her juices as they pour out of her little hole, spearing my tongue deep inside her still spasming channel. I growl when her walls pulse around me. My angel releases more of her sweetness, screaming her pleasure while she shakes in my arms. I flick her clit with my tongue, making her leg slip from my shoulder as her other leg gives out. Holding her tight, I pin her to the desk and continue my assault, not stopping as she rides out the last wave of her orgasm. Talia slumps against the desk, then slides into my waiting arms, where I hold her close while she comes down from her high. I feel her ragged breaths and thumping heart as I cradle her in my arms and rub her back in calming circles. Everything in me is screaming to tear off my clothes and claim her, hard and fast. But I take a deep breath and focus on the precious woman in my arms. So perfect, Angel, I whisper into her ear, before placing a kiss on the top of her head. Thank you for trusting me with your beautiful body. Talia sighs and looks up at me, her face flushed bright red from her orgasm, and her eyes shining with lust and adoration. Damn, what I wouldn't do to have her look at me like that every second of every day. Thank you for being trustworthy, she replies, before chewing her bottom lip nervously. Something about her words hits me deep. I want her to trust me with her heart, her future, every single thing, not just her body. Could someone as pure as Talia ever love a man with a stained soul? There's only one way to find out. I kiss Talia briefly, and then stand with her in my arms. I grin down at her and kiss her cute little nose. I can walk, she insists, though she makes no move to get out of my arms. I don't want to hurt your back or something. I stop in my tracks and look down at my gorgeous girl. What? What the hell is she talking about? Talia rolls her eyes, a look of annoyance and embarrassment flitting across her face. I mean, you know, I'm... She lifts her eyebrows and looks off to the side as if I'm supposed to fill the blank, but I honestly have no idea what she's talking about. Do I have to say it? I'm fat. Rarely have I been blinded by rage, but hearing my angel disparage herself has red clouding my vision. I don't think yelling at her to be nicer to herself is going to help, however. I guess I'll have to give her so many compliments and truths about herself that she'll forget every negative word anyone has ever spoken to her. Does that make me crazy and obsessive? Probably. Ask me if I give a fuck. Talia, I say as calmly as I can. I don't know who hurt you or filled your head with lies, but you're mine now. Do you understand? You're perfect as you are. Jesus, I love your thick thighs and soft curves. Love that there's more of you to explore. Will you let me show you? Her sharp green eyes pierced through me, tearing me apart and examining my words and motives one by one. I may have been distant the last few days, but I thought I was protecting her. I've come to my senses, however. The safest my Talia will ever be is right here in my arms. I'll stand here all damn night while she comes to her decision. I've never meant anything more in my entire life. I watch as her eyes go from skeptical to hopeful. Finally, warmth and desire flood back into her gaze, and she leans up to kiss me. Thank fucking God. I return her kiss and continue my path upstairs toward my bedroom suite. When we get inside, I gently set Talia on her feet and cradle her face in my hands. I kiss her forehead, her eyes, her nose, and finally, her soft, welcoming lips. When we break apart, Talia follows me like we're two magnets. I grin at her and give her one last chaste kiss. I love your pajamas, Bella, but I think I'm going to love what's underneath them more, I tell her, my voice low and full of lust. Her eyes twinkle with a devious spark, making my painfully hard cock surge and twitch in my pants. I guess we better find out, huh? I growl and spin her so her back is facing me. Slowly, so damn slowly, I slip my hands under her tank top, grazing my fingertips over her soft, supple skin. I peel the fabric off her body completely, then drag my lips and nose up her spine and kiss the back of her neck, making her shiver. Turn around for me, I purr. She hesitates for a second, then slowly spins, showing off her breathtaking body. I don't even think she realizes how seductive she's being, which makes me want her all the more. I can see her fighting off the urge to cover herself, but I'm so damn proud when she doesn't. She lets me see all of her. I can't get enough of her large, perky breasts, wide hips, and the soft curve of her belly. I let my fingertips wander over the soft, creamy skin of her shoulders and down the sides of her breasts. Then I take one in each hand, squeezing them gently. Talia moans softly for me, and then gasps as I tease her already hard nipples. Perfect. You are made for me, my beautiful angel, I whisper, before capturing her lips in a wild kiss. I walk her back to the bed, kissing her the whole way. When her calves hit the edge of the mattress, I give her a slight push, making her laugh quietly as her back hits the soft sheets. Talia crawls up the bed and sits up on her elbows, watching me with an excited heat in her eyes. I want to see you, too. I growl and begin ripping at my clothes, kneading her skin on my skin as quickly as possible. Touch yourself, baby. Make that sweet pussy come. Her cheeks turn pink and then red, but her hand slides between her legs. I love that she trusts me, even though she's a little nervous and out of her element. I want to push her boundaries, but ensure she feels safe the whole time. I watch, mesmerized, as Talia circles her fingers around her clit and stares right at me. Fuck, she's so goddamn sexy. My curvy little vixen spread out for me. I peel my shirt off, and I can see her pussy throb as a wave of her juices trickles out of her. Oh my God, Romeo, she breathes. She bites her lip and turns bright red again, the blush spreading to her chest. What am I? I ask as I undo my pants and let them drop to the floor. You're perfect. I can't believe you want me. It pains me that she doesn't see her beauty. I plan to fix that, starting right the fuck now. I shed my boxer briefs and grin when her eyes nearly pop out of her head. Gripping my cock, I squeeze the fucker in long, hard strokes to relieve some of this pressure building up inside. See how much I want you, Angel? You did this to me. Swear to Christ I've been hard for you since you first stepped foot in my home. Show me, she whispers, still rubbing her clit. Show me how much you want me. Anything for you, my queen, I grit, before climbing on top of her. I replace her hand with mine, rubbing her and groaning when I feel her warm honey drip all over my hand. Talia reaches down and strokes my dick, spreading the steady stream of pre-cum up and down my shaft. I need you, Romeo. Please, please. I remove her hand and rock my thick, hard cock up and down her slit, gathering her juices and bumping her clit. I position myself right at her entrance and hover there, feeling her pulsing little hole massaging the head of my dick. Ready for me, my beautiful Talia? She looks me right in the eye with equal parts trust and trepidation. I kiss her softly, hoping to ease some of her worry. I'm ready, Romeo. I want to feel all of you. Please make love to me. Her words course through my veins and settle deep into my heart. A month ago, I would have scoffed at the idea of making love. It's an archaic and troublesome term, mostly because I don't know how to love. Or rather, I didn't think I was capable of it. But looking at Talia now, her luscious body spread out beneath me, her pink lips pulling into a gentle smile, and her green eyes filled with longing, I know I'm fucked. She's it. She's mine. And now it's time to claim her. I ease my way into her tight little channel and swallow her whimpers in an all-consuming kiss. Relax, beautiful. Let me take care of you, I whisper under her lips. I circle her clit with my thumb as I gently stretch her open in shallow thrusts. When she's nice and relaxed for me, I pull back all the way and fill her up to the hilt, groaning when I break through her virginity. Talia, I say through gritted teeth, trying not to move. Why didn't you tell me I was your first? I didn't want you to stop, she whispers bravely through the lone tear falling down her cheek. I kiss it away, hoping to ease her discomfort. I still don't. I want this. I want you, Romeo. Talia, my sweet girl. Her confession floods every cell of my body. She wants me. Mine. Oh, fucking mine, I growl, my eyes never leaving hers. Yours, she whimpers. I hate that she's in pain, but I can't help the caveman that comes out in me. I want to beat my chest and roar to the universe that I found my mate for life. Instead, I stay completely still, buried deep inside her perfect cunt, letting her get used to me. Talia wiggles beneath me, the movement lodging my cock deeper inside her and making us both groan. Shit, beautiful. You feel so good. I need more, Romeo. Please. She leans up to kiss me, her arms looping around my neck and pulling me down on top of her. I want to be gentle, but I'm only so strong. Her perfectly warm, soaking channel is wrapped around me so tight, sucking me back in even as I pull out of her and thrust back inside. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yes. More, she moans, bucking her hips slightly and testing how we fit together. It's too damn good. I snap my hips a little more forcefully than I intended, and worry for a second that I hurt her sensitive, swollen, freshly broken-in pussy. Don't stop, she cries out, putting all my worries at ease and making me growl at her eager, desperate tone. There's a quiet, reverent rhythm to how I move inside her body and how she receives me. She strokes my back and kisses my neck, and then something switches. Her fingernails drag down my back, and she bites my shoulder, marking me and making me snarl into her mouth as I take her lips in a punishing kiss. I respond with a rough thrust that makes her breasts bounce. Don't stop, she cries out, louder, more forcefully this time. I don't. I lose myself in her, fucking her hard and dirty, our skin slapping together, her wet pussy making deliciously sloppy sounds as I pull out and slam back into her again and again. Fuck, Talia. So tight and perfect for me, I grunt. Talia gasps as her pussy chokes my dick. She's about to come. I can feel it. I pick up my speed and lean down to suck on her gorgeous tits. She lets out a jagged moan and tangles her fingers in my hair, holding me to her breasts as I feast on them. Romeo. Oh, God. I think... Oh, fuck. I'm gonna... Come for me, I growl, looking at her beautiful face as she races toward her climax. Talia sucks in a sharp breath and holds it, her body going still, her muscles straining and tensing as I pound into her sweetness. All at once, she lets go of the tension coiling in her body. Talia's spasms surround me, her cunt squeezing the life out of my cock, while she writhes beneath me and arches her back. I fuck her through it, sucking on her nipples and grabbing her juicy ass, holding her in place so I can drill her into the mattress. My angel keeps coming and coming, releasing her sweet honey all over my dick. Her pussy is still throbbing when I pull out of her. She whimpers at the loss, but I flip over on her stomach and position her on all fours. Jesus fuck. So beautiful like this, I praise her. My dirty angel wiggles her voluptuous ass, and I smack it, growling as her cheeks jiggle. Talia moans and bucks her hips back. I spank her one more time, then grip her cheeks in my hands, prying her open so I can see her dripping wet opening. Without warning, I plunge back into her, hitting home in one rough thrust. Oh, fuck, Romeo. You're so deep, she cries out. I grip her hips and bounce her curvy body off my cock, while she moans and grips the sheets. My sweet, filthy girl screams and lets go, her orgasm rippling through her body and pulsing around my dick. I can't hold on much longer, but I want to feel this, feel her wrapped around me as long as I can. One more, Talia. Give me one more, I demand, my voice low and urgent as I snap my hips and spank her hard enough to leave a bright red mark. Good. I want her to be reminded of me every time she sits down tomorrow. It's too good. Too much, she whimpers, her arms and legs shaking with the effort of holding herself up. Not enough, Angel. Not nearly enough, I snarl. I've got you, Talia. Let go from me. One arm loops under her hips, holding her up as I fuck her savagely. I reach out with my other arm and fist her hair, riding her with every goddamn thing I have. Talia sobs her release, gushing all over me, jerking in my arms as I hold her up. I grind my cock deep inside her, feeling her pussy massage me. Finally, I permit myself to let go. With a roar, I empty rope after rope of sticky, hot cum inside her. My dick hurts so good with the force of each new wave. I fill her up to the brim and then keep going, my orgasm stretching out longer and harder than I've ever experienced. My seed dribbles out of her, coating her thighs, my balls, and the bed below. With one last thrust and a primal grunt, I empty the last of my cum deep inside her. She collapses on the bed, effectively dislodging my shaft from her warmth. I look down and see the evidence of her virginity smeared over my softening cock. Only then do I come back into my body and realize I just tore her apart viciously, almost violently, during her first time. Panic lances my heart, and I find it hard to breathe. I lie next to her and cup her face gently, the way I should have treated her all along. Talia, God, are you okay? She opens her eyes and smiles at me, half dazed. So good, she mumbles, turning her head to kiss my palm. Thank fuck, I breathed, before wrapping her up in my arms and holding her close. Jesus, you're amazing. I've never experienced anything like that, Talia. Only you. Only you, baby. Only you can do that to me. She sighs dreamily, easing more of my worry until all I can feel is whole and happy. Talia snuggles deeper into my chest while I run my fingers through her hair and kiss the top of her head. My woman drifts off to sleep, and as I hold her tightly, caressing her curves with my fingertips, I can't think of a time I've ever been so happy or content. I vow to myself and to Talia that we'll end every day like this, with her resting peacefully in my arms. I watch Talia's eyelashes flutter against her rosy cheeks, a sweet smile kissing her lips as she sleeps. She's the softest, most precious thing in my life, and I'm terrified that my dark world will swallow her whole. I won't let anyone harm you, I whisper, kissing the top of Talia's head. I know, she sighs contentedly, never opening her eyes. This woman trusts me to take care of her, and fuck if I've ever backed down from an important mission. She will be safe. She will be mine. Forever.
Chapter 9. Talia. Romeo had to leave for a meeting at 8 this morning, and I won't lie, I was disappointed that he didn't spend all day in bed with me, especially after I gave him my virginity. He felt terrible, but I understand. I mean, I don't have much of a choice. Was I expecting the Mafia boss to play hooky for the day? The man obviously has a demanding life, and if I want a fighting chance at keeping Romeo forever, I need to get used to that fact. Plus, he sent 2 female staff members to pamper me all day. I've had a massage, a lovely hair mask, several moisturizing facial treatments, a manicure.
Let the music unwind the tension of the day, making space for the next chapter to arrive with clarity.
And pedicure, and I'm now relaxing in a bubble bath with a glass of cucumber and mint water. So, things aren't so bad. Anything else I can get for you, miss? Angela, one of the staff members, asks through the bathroom door.
I'll get her anything she needs from now on.
A booming voice sounds from right outside the slightly ajar door.
You and Margaret are dismissed for the day.
There's a slight pause, and then I hear a muffled,
"Thank you for taking care of her."
I can't see Angela's face, but I can imagine her eyes are bugging out of her head. I get the sense that Romeo isn't one much for compliments or gratitude, but he seems to be changing. At least when it comes to my care, he takes it so very seriously, which only endears him to me more. No one has ever cared this much or this intensely about my happiness. A moment later, Romeo barges into the bathroom, his eyes roaming up and down my naked body, even though it's mostly covered in water and bubbles. The lust is palpable. his need for me rippling off his body in waves. But when his gaze meets mine, it's surprisingly tender.
I shouldn't have left you this morning,
he says, his tone soft and full of regret. He loses his black tie and tosses it behind him before undoing the top buttons of his shirt. He gets frustrated and claws at the fabric, making the buttons pop off and bounce around the room. I giggle at his eagerness, the warmth from his confession filling me up and making me glow. I didn't have to tell him I was sad to be alone after our intense encounter. He just knew, and he's more than ready to make it up to me now. Are you joining me? I ask, sitting up and exposing my breasts. Romeo's eyes lock onto my chest, watching the bubbles slowly slide down my skin to reveal my hard, sensitive nipples. He groans, biting his bottom lip as his nostrils flare. His belt is off in the next second, his dress pants and boxer briefs coming off a moment later as he stalks toward the tub.
I'll have to get a bigger one for both of us, but for now...
He trails off as if he's too preoccupied thinking of all the things he wants to do to me to finish his thought. What are you? Romeo scoops me up from the tub and stands with me in his arms, water and bubbles splashing everywhere. He carries me toward the bed, and I giggle and kick my legs out, gasping when he tosses me on the soft mattress. His massive frame falls on top of me, but he catches himself with a hand on either side of my head. I automatically wrap my legs around his hips, moaning when I feel his thick, heavy cock lying across my slit. I need you, Romeo. I murmur, leaning up for a kiss. He opens up for me, letting me take control.
Fuck, I need you too, Talia. I should have been here with you all day, getting lost in your sexy fucking body and showing you how much I need you.
It's okay, I murmur, running my fingertips over the slight stubble on his cheek. You're here now.
It's not okay, Bella. You come first, always.
I'm unsure how to respond to that, but I don't have to. Romeo sees how much his promise means to me and seals it with a kiss on my forehead.
I'll make it up to you, Angel. I'll make you feel so good you forget all about it.
I whimper and nod, spreading my legs wider, embracing myself for his monster cock, but Romeo surprises me by flipping our positions. He grips my hips in his large hands, steadying me and getting me into position. I look into his obsidian eyes, so deep and full of emotions that are new to both of us. I can't believe he wants me. The look of awe on his face lets me know he thinks the same about me. I think he loves me. I think I love him too. Romeo, I whisper, unsure of how to voice my thoughts.
I know, Angel. I feel it. I feel you.
He lifts me, guiding me over his hard length. I sink down a little, gasping when the head of his cock spreads me wide open. My pussy spasms at that small contact, and a wave of wetness coats his dick, which helps me slide down a little more. Romeo hisses and groans in pleasure, giving me the confidence to take all of him.
God, Talia.
He half whispers, half groans.
You feel so damn good, baby. Take it slow.
Romeo cups the back of my neck and draws me down for a kiss. It starts sweetly, almost reverently. I rock against him, making him growl into my mouth and pull my bottom lip through his teeth. His hands slide up my bare back, his fingertips leaving a burning trail as they roam back down. Romeo grips my ass, spreading me wider and helping me circle my hips. Fuck. I moan when the base of his shaft rubs against my clit. My pussy contracts as pleasure rockets through my body. Sitting up, I steady myself with my hands on his chest, clawing down his chiseled muscles as I lift on my knees. I circle my hips again and rub the head of his dick through my folds, using it to massage my clit.
Talia,
Romeo grunts, tipping his head back as he slides his hands up my torso, cupping my breasts. I cry out when he pinches my nipples, surprised when my entire pussy throbs and gushes at the slight pain. I drop back down, needing more of him, more of this connection. Romeo continues kneading one breast with his hand, while his other leaves teasing little touches down my rib cage and tummy until he reaches my center. He slips one finger into my folds, rubbing my clit as I grind against him. "Oh, God," I gasp, throwing my head back. Romeo grunts and pinches my clit, sending sharp currents of electricity throughout my body.
"That's it, Talia. Jesus, that's so fucking it."
His words pull a moan from my lips as I lift my hands from his chest to tangle in my hair. Romeo grunts in approval, rubbing furious circles around my clit while I ride him, taking him as deep as possible. Each time he hits the end of me, the breath is stolen from my lungs. I'm panting and writhing and so close to falling apart. My thighs tremble and my muscles lock, bracing myself for what's to come. My entire body is strung tight, teetering on the sharp edge of ecstasy. Romeo senses my need and takes my hips in a punishing hold. He anchors me in place and fucks up into me in powerful strokes, taking control. I gladly let him. I can't stop the desperate, wanton whimpers falling from my lips as he tears me open with each rough stroke. I inhale sharply and hold my breath, the intense pressure in my core throbbing and consuming me, nearly choking me as my orgasm slams into me all at once. I freeze, then spasm violently, collapsing on top of Romeo as my climax tears through me. He growls and cups my ass, holding me in place while he fucks up into me, shoving his cock so damn deep, forcing me to feel every ounce of pleasure he's offering. I'm a sweaty, shaky mess by the time I come back down, but Romeo gives me no reprieve. He flips me onto my back and hammers into me, hooking his hand under my left knee and spreading me wide open. It's impossible, but I feel an orgasm fighting its way to the surface, threatening to swallow me whole. I cry out, twisting the sheets in my fists and bowing my back. I can't come again. I moan breathlessly.
"You can, baby. You can take it. Do you trust me?"
"Yes," I answer without hesitation. Romeo's eyes grow dark and determined at that one word.
"Then take what I give you."
With that, he picks up his speed, stroking me savagely as I whimper and writhe beneath him. He's keeping me right there, so close, each rough thrust bringing me more blissful agony than I thought possible. Romeo takes my lips in a searing kiss, licking into my mouth and taking control. I'm completely at his mercy as he fucks me with his tongue and huge cock. I love being taken by him, filled by him, ruined by him. He growls into my mouth, the sound almost painful.
"Fucking hell, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come so damn hard. Come with me, baby. Come with..."
I cut him off with a scream as I splinter apart. I wrap my legs around his torso, locking my ankles behind his back. I cling to him as every nerve ending vibrates with deliciously sharp pleasure. Ecstasy courses through my veins and drips out of me as my pussy snaps around his cock. He swells inside me, stretching me impossibly wider. Romeo roars his release, his bulging muscles tensing and releasing as he fills me up with his cum. Our combined orgasm stretches on for long moments as we hold each other close. Romeo holds himself deep inside me. even after we're both completely spent. He buries his face on the side of my neck, kissing me there and letting out a huge breath. I comb my fingers through his hair, loving this tender, almost fragile moment. Romeo sighs and relaxes even more. I love the weight of his body on top of mine. He lifts his head, resting his forehead against mine. I didn't think it was possible, but his cock is still hard. I whimper as he rolls his hips slowly. Aftershocks of my intense orgasm spark through me. Romeo cups the side of my face, gently stroking my cheek. He's making love to me. That's what this is. Slowly, so slowly, he enters me and pulls out. I feel every ridge and vein in his thickness as he pushes inside me once more. He rocks into me, his forehead never leaving mine, his hand never leaving my cheek. We come together silently, holding each other's gaze. I swear I see tears in his eyes, but Romeo leans down to kiss me before they fall. I feel so precious at this moment, surrounded by his strength as my limp body melts into the mattress, making me feel so thoroughly loved and protected. Romeo gently rolls us over, draping me across his body.
Tell me what's on your mind, Bella.
He trails his hand down my spine, tenderly caressing my skin and lulling me into a fuzzy post-climax haze. Maybe that's why I decide to confess my fears and why they snowball into a near meltdown. What happens next? I ask softly. With me, I mean, or I guess with us? I glance at Romeo before looking away again. I'm not expecting to stay here forever, I know that. You'll get tired of me at some point and I'll outstay my welcome. I don't think I can go back to that apartment. And my crocheting business is doing well, but it's not going to pay the rent for a while until I can grow it more, and... Romeo presses a finger to my lips, silencing me.
You never have to worry about money again,
he says firmly. I try protesting, but he raises his scarred eyebrow, giving me a dark look.
As for getting tired of you?
Romeo shakes his head, his dark eyes searching mine for something.
How could you even think that? Have I not made it clear that I'm obsessed with you? I didn't want to scare you off with my intensity, and, truthfully, I hardly understand it myself.
I blink at him, my runaway thoughts coming to an abrupt halt. How did he know exactly what I needed to hear? It's like he reached into my soul, found my deepest heartache, and spoke healing words directly into my pain. Tears sting my eyes as they rush to the surface. Romeo starts to panic.
Shit, I'm screwing this up,
he mutters.
I'm not good with words, Talia, but...
This time, it's me who stops his rambling with a finger on his lips. You didn't screw anything up, I promise. I try looking away from his dark gaze, but he cups my chin and draws my face back toward his. I can't believe you want me like that. I finally whisper. You sound like you want to keep me. Romeo flips our positions, pressing me into the mattress as he looms over me and cages me in with his arms. His black hair is wild, matching his deep brown eyes as they bore into mine. I feel safe and protected, yet completely exposed to this man. I'm sharing my body, opening up my fragile heart, and inviting him to either soothe me or break me apart completely.
I am keeping you,
he vows, his voice both commanding and gentle.
You're mine, Talia. Every part of you. I want your sweet smiles and sexy moans, your calming presence and your kind heart. I want it all, including your secrets and pain, sweet girl.
Romeo, I say with a sniffle as he brushes away a few tears with the pat of his thumb. He presses a kiss to my cheeks and lips, then settles next to me before pulling me into his arms once more.
Tell me who made you feel unworthy,
He murmurs.
Who made you think you were an inconvenience?
I shrug, but my man isn't going to let me get away with that. I sigh and snuggle closer, tracing his tattoos as I spill my heart out to the only man who has ever asked. I was a late-in-life surprise for my parents, who thought they were done raising kids. I start, my voice soft and unsteady. My mom left when I was 5. My dad made sure to remind me it was my fault.
Asshole,
Romeo grunts, tightening his hold on me. I grin, kissing his chest right over his heart. It is what it is, I say, repeating the line I've been telling myself for years. At least my dad stuck around for most of my childhood. Most? My brother, Thomas, was almost 2 decades older than me. I guess my dad had enough of raising me, so when I was 17, he dropped me off at Thomas's apartment. I've been there for a few years, trying to build my crochet business so I could move out. We didn't have a perfect life, but we made ends meet, you know? Romeo nods, giving me space to say whatever I need to say. His drinking was getting a little out of hand, but it wasn't horrible, not like my dad's addiction. I thought I could help him get better, but then...
sweet girl,
Romeo mutters, wrapping his arms around me and holding me close.
I hate that you've gone your whole life feeling forgotten and abandoned.
I give an awkward shrug once again. It is what it is.
Not anymore,
Romeo says firmly.
I'm going to spoil you like crazy until you believe you are worth every penny, every ounce of attention and care.
I smile through my tears, reaching out to trace a line down Romeo's nose and lips. I don't care about money or what it can buy. I just care about you, Romeo. I want you in my life, whatever the cost. He furrows his brow, studying me intently before capturing my lips in a slow, sensual kiss.
I don't know what I did to deserve you,
he whispers into the shell of my ear.
But I'm keeping you. You're mine now, Talia.
Yours, I repeat, finally resting my head on his chest. Romeo cradles me in his arms, soothing every broken piece of my past.
Chapter 10. Romeo. I woke up over an hour ago, but I've been content to lie here and count each one of Talia's freckles in the early morning light. The sun kisses her cheeks and tangles her auburn hair, making her glow like the angel she is. Gently combing a hand through her hair, I let the silky strands fall through my fingers as I inhale her sweet peppermint scent. She's the most precious thing in the world, and she somehow ended up right here in my bed. Are you being a creeper? Talia sasses, her lips curling into a grin even though her eyes are still closed. I can't help but smile at how adorable she is. I'm simply appreciating the work of art I woke up next to, I murmur, pressing a kiss to the side of her neck. Talia hums her approval, tilting her head and arching her back to give me better access. I nip at her skin, then lick a stripe up her throat before diving into her perfectly plump and pouty lips. My girl opens up for me, welcoming each demanding stroke of my tongue and matching my passion with her own. She pulls away, gasping for air, and I growl with impatience as I focus my attention on her big, perky breasts. Talia laughs breathlessly, then moans as I lap at her nipples, licking them into tight peaks before sucking one into my mouth and then the other. Need something from me? Talia half whispers, half groans. I roll her on top of me in one swift motion, guiding her legs to straddle me as she steadies herself on my chest. I cup the back of her neck and pull her down so her face is inches from mine. "I'll always need you, my sweet Talia," I murmur, letting her see my truth. I don't give her a chance to respond. I take her lips in a possessive kiss, hoping to convey all the unspoken promises of forever. We get lost in each other. Every touch, every kiss, every soft moan, binding my heart to hers. Talia leans back and props herself up on her knees, positioning her soaking little pussy over my raging cock. Fuck. The way she looks at me. Her heart on display, her strength and desire shining through. Her large, perfect breasts, soft belly, and thick, creamy thighs. God damn. This woman is mine. My forever. My precious, sexy as hell, future wife. The mother of my children. I feel it deep in my soul. The rightness settling in my bones and washing away everything that came before her. Never breaking eye contact, Talia slowly slides down my hard shaft, engulfing me in her perfect, wet heat. I groan at the sight of my dick disappearing into her ripe little cunt, pre-cum leaking out of the tip as I think about being inside of her every damn day from now until forever. So good, I tell her, my voice gravelly and laced with need. When she's fully seated on me, we both take a moment to catch our breath. Talia curls her fingers into my chest, her nails digging into my flesh and making me grunt with pain and pleasure. She bounces up and down my cock, crying out and twisting her hips when the angle is just right to hit her G-spot. That's it, Angel. Use me up. Fuck me until you come all over me. Talia moans in response, but that's not good enough for me. I spank her tight ass and grab her cheek hard. She gasps for air as her pussy chokes my cock. Yes, yes, I want to come all over you, she cries. She rocks back and forth in a desperate attempt to find relief. I reach out and cup her gorgeous tits, pinching her nipples and groaning as her body shivers on top of me. I keep one hand kneading and massaging her breasts, while the other reaches between us and rubs her clit, causing her to tense and shout my name. I feel you, Talia. I know you want to come for me, I growl. Her thighs tighten around my hips, her pussy pulsing wildly as more of her sweet honey pours over my dick. She takes in a huge breath of air and goes completely still, and she shatters all around me. Talia squeezes my cock so fucking tightly, it almost hurts as her orgasm ravages her curvy body. She collapses on my chest and buries her head in my neck, kissing and nipping at me as her hips continue to roll and stutter. I grab her ass and help her grind down on top of me until she spasms again. I feel her orgasm spread throughout her body as I slide one hand up her back to tangle my fingers in her hair and pull her lips up to meet mine. Talia moans into the kiss, driving me crazy with the way her tongue slides against mine. I flip us over and pound that pink little pussy with everything I have, swallowing her cries of ecstasy. Leaning back, I throw one leg over my shoulder and then the other, grabbing onto the headboard as I slam in and out of her. Mine. Fucking mine, I growl, looking into her eyes, branding her with my stare, my cock, and soon, my baby in her belly. Fuck, I roar, feeling my dick swell up inside her. Romeo. Oh, God. Talia whimpers and claws at the sheets, thrashing her head back and forth. Come for me, Talia. Come for me like a good girl. Talia screams and lets go of every goddamn thing, snapping her pussy around me again and again as she's hit with never-ending waves of bliss. She's shivering and sweating and moaning uncontrollably. With one last thrust, I burst, coming in long, powerful ropes, emptying every last drop deep inside her. God damn. The vision of Talia round with our kid, her breasts full and sensitive. I release another round of hot cum before rolling off to the side and dragging her limp, sated body on top of mine. Talia snuggles up next to me and kisses my chest, my neck, my jaw, and finally, my lips. That's my new favorite way to wake up, Talia muses when she's somewhat caught her breath. I grin as I trace invisible patterns over her shoulder and back. It's on the tip of my tongue to tell her I love her and need her to be tied to me in every way possible. But then the alarm on my phone goes off. Growling, I turn and grab my phone from the table, shutting off the alarm and tossing the damn thing on the floor. Talia giggles at my grumpiness, and I roll over, fusing our lips so I can taste her laughter. When we break apart, Talia sighs contentedly and closes her eyes as she rests against the pillows. I take one more moment to appreciate her delicate beauty, as well as her sinful curves. She's incredible, and I can't wait to come back here this evening and show her exactly how irresistible I find her. If you keep looking at me like that, you might not make it out of bed today, she teases, peeking one eye open. I groan as I lunge forward, intending to get lost in her body all over again. But Talia rolls away laughing when I growl at her. What if I don't want to leave the bed? I say with a considerable amount of whining in my voice. You're the boss, Talia quips, her green eyes sparkling with mischief. No one would call you out for skipping work. I'm about to text Dante and tell him to cancel all my meetings and plans for the day, but he texts me first. Dante. 2 warehouses were hit last night. No casualties, but missing product, missing funds. Columbo's want a meeting to discuss a trade. Shit, I mutter, knowing my plans for the day can't be postponed. Tapping away on my phone, I tell Dante to gather the details and the men necessary for a briefing and schedule a meeting with the fucking Columbos. I don't have to ask what they want in return for what they stole, or rather, who they want. I will kill any and every man who tries to take my Talia away from me. I'll scorch the whole fucking world to ensure her safety. Duty calls? Talia asks from her mountain of blankets and pillows. She doesn't sound sad or disappointed, simply understanding of my demanding schedule. I'm sad and disappointed, however. Livid, too. When this is all over with the goddamn Columbos, I'm taking a vacation, somewhere far away, where I can spend an entire week wrapped up in Talia and show her how much I love her. Putting my phone down, I turn to Talia, smiling when I see how snuggled up she is. I can't imagine not waking up to this every day, and truthfully, I'm not sure how I managed without her for so long. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, I mutter. Go out there and kick some ass. Then come back to me and I'll make it better, Talia offers, crawling out of her blanket cocoon and sitting next to me on the edge of the bed. My girl kisses my shoulder, then rests her head there in the sweetest gesture. I promise I'll always come back to you, I murmur, pressing my lips to the top of her head. Reluctantly, I untangle myself from my woman and quickly shower before getting dressed. This is the last thing I want to deal with today, but it's a matter of Talia's safety, so it's of the utmost importance. Hours later, Armando, Valentino, and a few other trusted men and I are scouring the docks and empty shipping containers for the representatives from the Colombo family. They were supposed to be here, in neutral territory, an hour ago. Being late could be a power play, but something tells me it's more. I just haven't figured out exactly what the endgame is yet. They were the ones who called this meeting in the first place, Valentino grumbles. Was it to mess with us? A stupid, pointless joke if that was their goal. Armando replies, crossing his arms over his chest. It has to be more than that, I say, mostly to myself. My men fall silent, giving me space to figure out our next move. They can't be baiting us, otherwise they would have ambushed us by now. I pace back and forth, my mind whirling with the possibilities. The Colombos might be arrogant and sloppy, but they wouldn't plan another attack on our territory so soon after the first one. What am I missing? There has to be something else. Something I'm not seeing. A weakness I've overlooked. My phone rings, and I sigh when I see Dante's name pop up. What now? I say flatly. She's gone, is all he says. It's all he needs to say. My stomach drops to the ground, and my heart slams against my rib cage as I struggle to take in air. I don't realize I'm crushing my phone until the case starts to crack. I ease up, but only to keep a line of communication open. Talia? Left? I choke out. Did I hurt her this morning? I thought we were on the same page. But I was rough with her. Jesus. If I made her uncomfortable in any way, I can't even finish the thought. It's incomprehensible. Or maybe she realized I'm no good for her. My life, my world, everything I touch is evil, except for Talia. She's the one pure good thing I allowed myself to enjoy. And now, I'm not sure, Dante replies, breaking into my racing thoughts. All of her things are here, but there's no sign of a struggle. No one was in your house except for the usual staff. I checked with the guards and those working the compound, but there were no reports of strange activity, no visits, and no one even came up to the gate all day. I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm already sliding into the back seat of my BMW and motioning for my driver to head home. I'm on my way, I clip out before hanging up. I don't know how they did it, but the Colombos have her. The meeting today wasn't to discuss a trade. It wasn't a power play or a joke. It was a fucking distraction so they could get to Talia. Little do they know, they are living on borrowed time. I will tear off every finger that touched my sweet Talia, then pluck out the eyes of every man who dared look at her. I'll always come back for you, I promised Talia, repeating the words I told her this morning. After today, I'll never let her out of my sight again.
Chapter 11. Talia. She awake yet? An unfamiliar voice grunts.
I see her starting to move.
Another gruff voice answers. Awareness slowly trickles through my body, each limb waking up as I blink a few times to adjust to my new environment. Confusion clutters my mind, and I search my fuzzy memory to piece together how I got here. I was with Romeo this morning, that much I know. After he left, I grabbed my laptop and pulled up my email to check any new orders that came in over the last few days. The email. I should have known it was a trap. Part of me was suspicious, but I panicked and made the only choice I could. The subject was simply Romeo. It contained an address and time and instructed me to show up if I wanted to spare Romeo's life. The email detailed how Romeo couldn't protect me forever, and if I ignored the opportunity, they'd make me watch while they slaughtered Romeo before doing the same to me. My first instinct was to tell Romeo, but I knew he would tell me to stay put. He'd probably have someone hack my email and find out where the message came from, then go there himself to prove a point. I tried not to picture how poorly that would end, but visions of Thomas being shot filled my mind, his face flickering and switching to Romeo's as blood pooled around his body. No, I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let him sacrifice himself for me. Not after he took me into his home, offered me protection, fed me, clothed me, and gave me the best couple of days of my life. Romeo has shown me more love and care than I've ever experienced, and I can't let him suffer because I'm the loose end he never tied up.
Teresa!
One of the men shouts out, ripping me from my thoughts.
It's Talia,
the other one says.
Doesn't matter. She won't be around for long.
The breath drains from my lungs and my eyes water as my head thunders in my chest. I will myself not to cry, not to sniffle, not to show any sign of weakness. But I'm losing the battle. Fear settles in the pit of my stomach. A deep, animalistic fear that has me resorting to base survival instincts. I'm aware of every sound and every scrap of light in the cold, dark basement. One of the men near the only door pulls out a lighter and flicks it twice. A bright blue-orange flame illuminates his face. He has a large nose and thick eyebrows, and I can make out the edges of a large skull tattoo on the side of his neck before the flame dies. I stare at the lit cigar, the end glowing orange in the otherwise dim light of the basement. Smoke curls and swirls in the air, casting a muted cloud over the dank room.
Tell Antonio to get his ass down here. She's waking up and I don't want to deal with another brat today.
The man with the cigar says.
What am I, your servant? Tell him yourself, lazy ass.
The men bicker back and forth, and I close my eyes, trying to remember anything else about how I got here. I ended up taking a train and 2 buses to get to the address in the email, and that was after sneaking out of the Salvo compound. Romeo never told me I couldn't leave, but that did little to ease my guilt as I slipped out a side door and hid in the garden until someone else left and opened the gate. I hate the thought of Romeo discovering me missing. Will he think I left him because I don't want him anymore? Or because he's not good enough? Nothing could be further from the truth. I remember scribbling out a note telling him I loved him, but I couldn't bring myself to leave it behind. I ripped it up and flushed it down the toilet before sneaking out. If he knew how deeply I loved him, he'd never let me go. He'd come after me and get himself killed in the process. So I had to go alone, and I had to do it without anyone else knowing. However, when I got to the location, I knew I had made a mistake. The building was an old storage rental place that went out of business years ago. At first, I didn't see anyone, and I almost turned around and ran back to Romeo's. But then someone grabbed me and covered my mouth with a sweet-smelling rag. And then I woke up here.
Calm your fucking tits, Jerry.
A nasal voice calls from down the hall.
Didn't think you'd complain about watching a piece of pussy. I know it's been a while since you've had any.
My stomach flips as I swallow down bile. If any of these men touch me.
Fuck off, Antonio.
The man I assume is Jerry retorts.
All right, then. I thought you wanted me to come babysit. But if you've changed your mind...
Just get in here already. Jesus Christ. This is why I get migraines when I work with you. The door flies open, hitting the wall with an ear-splitting bang. Or maybe I'm overly sensitive from whatever drug they gave me to knock me out. Either way, I lift my hands to cover my ears, only to realize my right wrist is cuffed and secured to a chain drilled to the cement floor. Wincing at the loud metal clanging, I curl in on myself, wanting to disappear. My free hand grazes against something in my pocket, and I almost dismiss it before realizing what treasure I just found. My trusty crochet hook. Wrapping my fingers around the cool and comforting ergonomic grip, I bide my time for the perfect moment to deploy my weapon. Jerry tosses Antonio a ring of keys, motioning toward the chain I'm cuffed to.
Ah, there's our star witness,
Antonio exclaims, making his way over to me after slipping the keys into his pocket.
You got things covered down here?
Jerry asks. Antonio looks at him over his shoulder and nods.
Yeah, I ain't afraid of this little thing. You two go on upstairs and powder your noses, he says mockingly. It's not her I'm afraid of, Jerry mutters. The other man who was down here grunts. Then I hear them shuffle upstairs, the footsteps fading away into silence. Antonio turns to me, kneeling a few feet away. I scramble backward, scraping the heavy metal chain against the floor. My back hits the wall, which is uncomfortable, damp, and cold, but still 1,000,000 times better than being near the man currently grinning at me. Black eyes squint at me. Now, love. Don't be difficult. You remember our deal, right? I nod. You said you'd spare Romeo if I came here today. The man stares blankly. Then his lips pull into a hideous smile, oozing with vile thoughts and intentions. And do you know what that means for you, little girl? I'm not stupid, I say, my voice growing steadier by the second. I've been on a hit list for a week now, which means someone didn't finish the job. Antonio's eyes widen in surprise, then narrow into slits. His nostrils flare and his upper lip curls, revealing yellow, jagged teeth, more like a monster's than a man's. It's working. If anyone else from the Salvo family showed up to get you, I'd have put a bullet in their head before they ever got inside. But it was fucking Romeo himself. I couldn't kill the Don without direct orders. Or you were scared. I toss out. He snarls, rocking forward on his heels as spittle flies from his mouth. I stare him down, concentrating on not bursting into tears. My heart is hammering, my pulse racing in my ears as I struggle to breathe, but I don't back down. What did you say? Antonio's face is bright red, and his eyes bulge in anger. Perfect. I said you were too afraid to face Romeo. I don't even get the rest of the sentence out before he lunges for me. Gripping my crochet hook, I swing my arm out and stab Antonio in the eye, pushing the metal hook as far as it will go before yanking it out. A sickening squelch fills the room, followed by a thud as Antonio falls to the ground, both hands covering his eye socket, trying to stem the flow of crimson blood from his wound. I can't believe I did that, but I don't have time to process anything right now, not when I'm in survival mode. As if on autopilot, my body moves toward Antonio, who is thrashing around and trying to muffle his screams of pain. The keys fell out of his pocket when he rolled over, and I inched toward them, snatching them up with my free hand. Antonio tries kicking at my hand, but I already have the keys, and I'm working on my escape. Fucking bitch, Antonio hollers. What the fuck? I'm blind. You fucking blinded me. My hands are shaking so badly that I drop the keys twice while trying to find the right one. Luckily, there are only 3 keys on the ring, and it doesn't take too long to get free. I make a spur-of-the-moment decision to secure the cuff around Antonio's leg, feeling pretty damn proud of myself for taking out a Mafia goon. My journey is far from over, however. I need to get out of this basement and figure out where the hell I am and where the hell I'm going. Will Romeo want me back? Will he think I betrayed him? Only one way to find out. Taking a moment, I catch my breath and try to come up with some sort of plan. I've got nothing but adrenaline and fight-or-flight mode, so I do the only thing that makes sense. Fucking run. I throw the door open and sprint down the hall until I see the staircase with another door at the top. Taking the crooked stairs 2 at a time, I throw myself into the door, praying it's not locked. The heavy slab of wood gives way, but before I can take another step, large arms wrap around me, picking me up off the ground. No! I screech, fighting my way out of my captor's embrace. Let me go! Dahlia, comes Romeo's deep, soothing voice. Stop fighting me, Angel. I'm here now. Everything comes rushing to the surface. The fear, the confusion, the trauma of being kidnapped,
the violence I inflicted on a giant, scary monster.
I've got you, sweet Talia. I said I'd always come back to you. I'll always find you. Always protect you.
I wrap myself around Romeo as he holds me close and begins walking through the empty and eerily quiet warehouse. It takes me a moment to realize it's so quiet because the floor is littered with dead bodies. I gasp, letting out a pathetic whimper.
Close your eyes, Bella,
Romeo whispers. He cups a hand around the back of my neck and tucks my head into his shoulder.
You don't need to see any more violence.
I nod, clinging to him as the adrenaline drains from my body, leaving me cold and wrung out. I'm sorry, I murmur, though I'm not sure what I'm apologizing for. Being an inconvenience? For thinking I could help only to screw things up? What if I killed Antonio? Will that trigger some kind of war? Romeo doesn't say anything, and my stomach twists itself into a million knots. Of course, he's upset. All he ever tried to do was keep me safe, and I left his home and jumped right into a bad situation. Even if I thought I was doing the right thing, that doesn't change the fact that I'm a sobbing, disheveled mess who made Romeo and his men come after me. Oh, God, what if I got some of his men killed, too? I'm such an idiot. Romeo shifts my weight slightly to open a car door, then gently sets me down in the back seat before crawling in next to me.
Home,
he clips out to the driver before rolling up the partition. As soon as we're alone, Romeo turns to me, his dark eyes roaming over my body as if checking for damage. I'm sorry, I say again softly before coughing several times. My head feels like it's splitting in two, and I bring my hands up to either side, trying to hold my skull together. I didn't realize I had such a debilitating headache until I sat down. Romeo gently places a water bottle on my lap, then massages the back of my neck and shoulders in light, soothing touches.
Talia,
comes his quiet voice.
Look at me.
Even at such a low volume, I can hear the command in his tone. I blink my eyes open, turning to face the man I love more than anything or anyone in the world. I don't know if I will survive seeing disappointment in his eyes, but I owe him this much. Romeo,
God, Talia, I was so fucking terrified I'd lost you.
He blurts, cutting me off. He's no longer the intense, dark Mafia king with vengeance in his heart and violence on his mind. No, this Romeo is unbearably vulnerable, his eyes shining with tears as he shows me his heart. I don't have any words, so I simply nod as he pulls me into his lap, curling up against my man. I let him rock me back and forth, soaking up the warmth and love I feel at this moment.
Chapter 12. Romeo. I hold my Talia, kissing the top of her head as she buries herself further into my embrace. She's shaking, her tears wetting my shirt and breaking my goddamn heart. What the hell was she thinking? Going by herself to meet up with the fucking Columbos. Of course it was a setup. I've no one but myself to blame. I didn't tell her about this life. Didn't prepare her for the traps and pitfalls that come with it. I should have warned her. Should have made it clear that she needs to tell me everything, even the scary things, even the threats, especially the threats. Dante was skeptical of me letting Talia have her laptop in the first place, but I explained to him that she needed it for her job. I wasn't going to take away the one activity that brings her joy. But now I know I should have listened. There's a reason Dante is my second in command. I didn't hesitate to agree when he suggested breaking into Talia's computer. I don't give a fuck if that's a violation of privacy. There will be no secrets between us, especially dangerous ones. It took all of 2 minutes to find the email, and another 10 to get to the address. By that point, however, the fucking goons who laid hands on her had moved to a second location. We were able to track them down, And while I'm not sure what my girl went through, it's clear she fought for her freedom as much as I did. I'm so damn proud of her, but I'm still in shock, afraid this is a dream and she's not really here. I'm sorry, Talia says again, her voice cracking. Nothing is your fault, I assure her, rubbing calming circles on her back. Yes, I wish you would have told me about the emails, and yes, I need you to promise never to sneak out on me again, but I'm not angry with you. I don't think I'm capable of it. Talia leans back slightly, her green eyes peering up at me as they blink away tears. Before she gets a chance to respond, we pull into the compound. I hop out of the car, then scoop up Talia, cradling her against my chest as I make my way inside, upstairs, and directly into my ensuite bathroom. Setting her down carefully, I reach over and turn on the water, adjusting the temperature so it's nice and warm. Then I peel off her dirty clothes piece by piece until she's naked. Romeo, she whispers, placing her hand over my heart. I'm here, sweet girl, I tell her, untucking my shirt and undoing the buttons. Let's wash the day away. Wash everything away until it's just us. Just you and me, my precious Talia. Her bottom lip quivers, but she nods, letting me know she needs this closeness too. I just wanted to help, she says quietly, as she wraps her arms around her torso in a protective hold. I hate that she feels like she needs to shield herself from me. You've been so good to me, she says with a sniffle, and I couldn't live with myself if you were hurt or killed because of me. Reaching out, I cup the side of her face, tilting her head so we're eye to eye. Talia has dirt and grime smudged on her cheeks, along with dried tears and sweat. She's been through so much, and I can tell she's at her breaking point. It's my honor to lay down my life for you, my queen, I vow, sealing my promise with a kiss on her forehead. You don't owe me anything, angel. You give me everything just by breathing, by existing, by finding me worthy of your care. Tears form and fall from her emerald eyes, and I worry for a moment that I screwed up. But then Talia gifts me with a small, fragile smile, and I know everything is going to be okay. I finish stripping down, then join Talia in the shower, smoothing my hands down her arms as I pull her close. We stand under the hot water, letting it trickle over us and take away every trace of grime from today. Eventually, I reach behind Talia and grab the body wash, pouring some onto my hands before rubbing it into her soft skin. When I'm done, she does the same to me, her fingertips tracing my tattoos and scars before she combs her fingers through my hair. I just have to know why, I say quietly, catching her gaze. Why did you risk your life, Bella? Because I love you, she replies easily. And trading my life for yours was worth it to me. You love me? I repeat, my brain stuck on those 3 little words. More than you could ever know, she says, filling my heart with so many overwhelming emotions. God, Talia, I love you with every ounce of my being. You already know I'm obsessed with you, but I don't think you understand quite how much. The thought of losing you? Jesus, it hurts. Don't ever leave me again. I mean it, Talia. I couldn't survive. My precious woman wraps her arms around me, squeezing me with all her might. If you want to keep me, then I'm yours, she says, tipping her chin up to look me in the eye. If I want to keep you? Talia, you are it for me. I know you've spent your whole life feeling abandoned, forgotten, and overlooked. But that's over now. You are my heart, my reason for breathing. I press a kiss to her forehead, nose, and lips, hoping to convey the truth behind my words. Talia leans into me, opening up and rubbing her curves against my growing erection. Gotta stop, I grunt, reluctantly pulling away. Don't want to hurt you. I'm not hurt. I don't remember much, but I was mostly just scared. Nothing terrible happened. Something terrible did happen, but I'm glad it wasn't worse, I say, my voice firm. Please, my girl murmurs, standing on her tiptoes to kiss the side of my neck. Her hand trails down my stomach, making my muscles clench at her soft, sensual touch. I groan when she wraps her fingers around my cock, and the fucker twitches, growing painfully hard as she rubs up and down my shaft. Jesus, I grit, tipping my head back and tensing every muscle in my body. She feels too damn good, and I need this connection as much as she does. First, however, I need to give her a few orgasms. I look down at my precious Talia, her eyes filled with lust and longing. I take her lips in a searing kiss as I back her into the shower wall. When she breaks our kiss to suck down air, I growl and kiss my way down her body, licking her neck, sucking on her collarbone, biting her nipples, and kissing the soft skin underneath her breasts. I continue nibbling my way down her body, kneeling before her, bowing before my queen. Grabbing her hips, I guide one leg over my shoulder, inhaling deeply and thanking every god I can think of that she's here with me. I nip at the inside of one thigh and then the other, loving how her thick curves surround me and tremble each time I find a sensitive spot. Talia snaps her legs together, but I pry them apart, revealing more of her perfection. Slowly, so slowly, I drag the tip of my tongue up her slit, barely touching her where she needs it most. Talia whines, but I continue my excruciatingly slow exploration of her sweetness, pausing briefly to suck on her clit before lapping at the cream dripping from her little hole. Over and over, I give her just enough to bring her to the edge, then back off and switch, never giving her the relief she needs. Romeo, she pleads, bucking her hips. I need it. I need you. Unable to hold back any longer, I dive my tongue into her dripping wet pussy, licking up her sweetness and growling for more. Oh my God, Romeo, she moans. I dip my tongue in her hole and massage the walls of her tight cunt. Then I flatten my tongue and drag it up her slit until I get to the bundle of nerves that control her pleasure. I swipe over her clit once, twice, 3 times, before kissing her pussy lips. You taste so goddamn good. Love your honey on my lips, Bella. She spears her fingers in my hair and shoves my face back into her pussy. I chuckle and continue licking and sucking her soaking wet folds. She tenses above me. She's close. I lick her up and down, landing on her clit, sucking it in my mouth. She begins to shake in my hands. I bite down softly, and Talia erupts, gushing her release, trembling and screaming my name. I feel like the king of the fucking world, knowing I gave her that pleasure. I lick her through her orgasm until she pushes my head away, too sensitive from all the attention.
Chapter 13. Talia. The last of my orgasm fades, and I slump against Romeo. He stands and kisses me, long and deep, slow and passionate. He slides his hands up to my hips, and I throw my arms around his neck, forcing the kiss to go deeper. He finally breaks the kiss and nuzzles my neck, kissing under my shoulder. Love watching you come apart in my hands, in my mouth. Fucking beautiful. He lifts his head and rests it on my forehead. We're both breathing heavily, sharing the same air, the same intensity. I slide my hands down his neck, over his chest, down his well-defined abs, and grip his hard cock. Your turn. I grin at him. He hisses and throws his head back. Shit, Talia. I kneel before him, and he puts his hands on the wall to steady himself. I stroke him a few more times and then lick the head of his cock like a lollipop. Fuck, Romeo clenches his jaw, and I see the muscles in his neck strain. I feel so powerful, commanding the strength of this beast of a man. Romeo may be the king of the underworld, but right here, right now, he's simply mine. I open my mouth and slowly ease as much of him inside as I can. He squeezes his eyes shut and his throat bobs as he swallows hard. I love knowing I'm giving him this pleasure. Even though I just came, seeing Romeo like this has me so turned on that I'm ready to go again. That's it. That's so fucking it. When his length hits the back of my throat, I swallow him down. Romeo's eyes flash open, and a guttural moan rips out of him. I continue to suck and swallow, massaging his massive length. He looks down at me with such awe, and I can't wait to taste him exploding in my mouth. Romeo, however, has other plans. He pulls out of my mouth with a pop and lifts me into his arms. You're incredible, Angel, but I want to be inside you. Fuck that. I need to be inside you. Before I can respond, he captures my mouth in a frantic kiss, all teeth and tongue and fire, guiding me backward until my back hits the wall. He breaks the kiss to lift me into his arms. My legs automatically wrap around his hips, and his hard cock rubs along my slit. Yes, I moan, grinding against him. He growls but continues to slide his length through my folds, not penetrating me. His cock slides across my clit, winding that coil deep within, tighter and tighter with each stroke. His mouth roams my neck, chest, nipples, and everywhere in between. The heat of his tongue and sting of his teeth pepper my skin and set my nerves on fire. My fingers tangle in his hair as I hold on for dear life. Finally, he thrusts his cock deep inside me while biting down on my nipple. The coil snaps, and I instantly come, pulsing and shaking in his arms. My scream is caught in my throat. I forget to breathe, and all I can do is drown in wave after wave of pleasure as it washes over me and leaks out from between my thighs. Jesus Christ, Talia, I love when you fall apart for me. So beautiful, baby. You feel so good. Romeo licks my neck and nibbles at my pulse point. His lips brush the shell of my ear. Breathe, Talia. Take a breath from me. I drag air into my lungs, the oxygen pulling pleasure along with it while traveling into my bloodstream and coursing through my body. I hear Romeo chuckle as he pulls my earlobe through his teeth. You're so sensitive. I love it. Love seeing you lost in pleasure. All I can do is moan at this point. Romeo pulls out and slams back into me, setting a punishing pace. His fingers tighten around my thighs as he holds me in place, pounding into me. It hurts so fucking good as his cock stretches me, his fingers bruise me, and his teeth sink into me. I tilt my head back, and he covers my mouth with his, swallowing my cries in an all-consuming kiss. He rests his forehead on mine and grunts with each thrust of his hips. I didn't think I had anything left in me, but the pressure builds again in my core and quickly overwhelms me. Romeo pulls his head back to look me in the eyes, his dark gaze so intense, and I can't look away. Let go, Talia. One more time, beautiful. I need you to come. I close my eyes as I reach the point of no return. Eyes on me, Talia.
I want to watch as your perfect, curvy little body loses control. I snap my eyes open right as pleasure overtakes my body. Romeo's cock swells inside me and explodes as another wave of pleasure vibrates through me, through him, through us, breathing, pulsing together as one. Fuck, Talia, Talia. He chants my name as the last of our orgasms slip away, dripping between us. The moment lasts forever. We never break eye contact, and I see every emotion Romeo is feeling, just like I know he can see all of me at this moment, so raw and unfiltered. Romeo sets me down, keeping one hand around my waist while his other hand goes behind me, bracing himself on the wall. We're both still shaking, and it seems Romeo is as unsteady as I am on my feet. He tucks me into his chest, resting his forehead on the wall, covering me with his entire body like he's shielding me from everything outside this moment. I place a gentle kiss on his chest before burying my head there and wrapping my arms around his waist. Neither one of us says a word as we separate. Romeo grabs the body wash and pours some onto his hand before rubbing it all over my body, taking in every curve with such reverence. I do the same to him, soaping up his chest and arms, taking time to memorize the contours of his body. He turns the water off and dries me with a fluffy towel, then pauses to cup my face in his hands, gently wiping away my tears with his thumbs. I didn't even know I was crying. I look into his deep brown eyes and see such tenderness there, such depth. I look away, but he turns my face back toward his. I felt it too, Bella. I love you more than I knew I was capable of, and every time we're together, I'm reminded of how perfect you are. How do you always know what to say? I whisper, turning my head to kiss his palm. Romeo grins at me with a playful look I haven't seen before. I love it. Maybe my name lent me some romantic charm after all, He muses before kissing the tip of my nose. Come, my beautiful Talia, he says, holding out his hand. I take it and let him lead me to the bed, both of us still naked from our shower. Romeo pulls back the covers for me, then crawls in behind me, turning my body so we're face to face. My ruthless Mafia king looks at me with such tenderness and concern, and I love that he's only like this for me. After a few quiet moments, I muster up the courage to ask the question that has been burning in my mind since Romeo rescued me. Did I mess everything up for you? I whisper, fighting the urge to look away from him. I need to see the truth, not just the watered-down version he might try to give me to spare my feelings. No, not at all. He's quick to answer. His chocolate eyes never leave mine, letting me see he means every word. The Columbos fucked with us first, and they already have a world of hurt coming their way. But what about... I trail off, gathering the rest of my strength and pushing through the last question. What about the guy I killed? Will that, bring on a war or something? Romeo's lips twitch, and though he's trying to hold back his smile, it's not working. He's pretty adorable, though I don't know if he'd appreciate me telling him that. I hate to inform you, my warrior princess, but you didn't end any lives today. The motherfucker you attacked is missing one eyeball and is partially blind in the other, but still breathing. I frown a little, surprised to feel a pang of disappointment. Romeo chuckles, leaning forward to pepper kisses all over my face. You're gonna make the perfect queen, my love. Very inventive with your weapons, resourceful, gorgeous, sexy, and all mine. I fake a pout, making my man laugh. I'll have to go for the nose next time. Maybe I can pull his brains out or something.
Romeo surprises me by rolling me on my back and hovering above me, an arm caging me in on either side.
"There's not gonna be a next time, Talia,"
he says, his tone deep and gravelly.
"I have to protect my wife at all costs."
My world freezes, and the air drains from my lungs as I stare at Romeo. Did he just say wife?
"Yes, wife,"
Romeo answers. Apparently, I said that last thought out loud. Are you going to ask me?
"What would be the point? I won't accept no for an answer."
This makes me giggle. He's so serious, even when he's being sweet and romantic. Well, then I suppose it's a good thing I love you, and I can't wait to be your queen. Romeo's eyes flash with satisfaction and possessiveness.
"You're already my queen, Bella. You own me, body and soul. You alone have the power to destroy me."
I cup his face in my hands, drawing him closer until he's resting his forehead on mine. Thank you for trusting me, I whisper. I won't destroy you, Romeo. I only want to love you. Forever.
"For fucking ever, Angel,"
he promises, giving me one last kiss before rolling over and tucking me into his side. Romeo sighs contentedly, his breaths evening out until he's sleeping soundly. I lie next to him, resting my head on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. Every beat belongs to me. I make a silent promise to cherish it, then close my eyes, drifting off to sleep in the arms of my love.
Epilogue. Romeo. Call back when you have something of substance to tell me, I growl over the phone, before hanging up. Resting my elbows on my desk, I hold my head in my hands, hoping to ward off the headache that's been threatening me all morning. Before I can get too upset, my office door swings open, ushering in my bright, giggly 6-year-old daughter, Bailey. "Daddy, look what Mommy made for me!" The dark cloud hanging over my head dissipates, and the darkness in my soul recedes into the background as I smile at my sweet girl. Her green eyes shine up at me, her laughter contagious. I didn't know how I would handle being a family man at the same time as being a ruthless Mafia king, but from the moment I laid eyes on Talia, my world and heart expanded to include her, whatever the costs. The same was true when I held Bailey for the first time, and again with our 3-year-old son, Clayton. "Is that a new dress?" I ask, pushing away from my desk as she waltzes toward me. "Yes," Bailey squeals. "Sparkly." She spins, and I smile as I admire the crochet dress made with an array of pastel colors, as well as a strand of sparkly yarn for that added touch. My wife is so talented, and it works out perfectly to have Bailey and Clayton be the guinea pigs for her latest children's clothing line. Holding out my arms, I prepare for my daughter to launch herself into my lap. When she does, I spin around in my chair, laughing along with her. "Beautiful baby girl," I tell her, meaning every word. "So this one is a keeper, I take it?" Talia says from the doorway of my office. I look up, blown away every single time at her beauty. I don't know how my wife has become more radiant in the 8 years we've been married, but every time our eyes meet, I'm reminded of how gorgeous and precious she is. "Yes!" Bailey shouts, making Talia laugh. "Sorry she burst in like that," Talia says as she steps further into the room. "It's no trouble," I assure her. "I love my girls." "And me," Clayton exclaims from under my desk. "Where did you come from?" I ask in surprise. My son scrambles up from the floor, grinning from ear to ear. "Secret," he bursts out before skipping away and circling Talia. She bends down and scoops him up, resting him on her hip like it's the most natural thing in the world. For her, it truly is. She's so good with our kids, so kind and attentive. I know she's giving them the love she never had as a child, and I think it's healing some of the pain from her past. I stand with my little girl in my arms and walk over to my wife, kissing her forehead before planting a kiss on her lips. Our kids groan, and Talia laughs, her cheeks glowing pink. She's so damn adorable. "Ready for movie night?" Talia asks as we head out of my office. "The pizza is in the oven, and the cupboard is filled with snacks," I confirm. Bailey gets antsy, so I set her down. Clayton whines, and Talia sets him down as well. Our kids chase each other into the kitchen, leaving my beautiful wife and me alone for a few precious moments of peace. I guide Talia so her back is against the wall, then dip my head to whisper into the shell of her ear. "I love you, Bella. Every time I see you, I fall deeper in love with you." I feel her smile against my cheek and turn my head to capture her lips. She's sweet and pliable beneath my demanding kiss, her body melting into mine as I slide my tongue against hers. When we break apart, Talia rests her forehead on my chest, catching her breath. What was that for?" she asks, peering up at me. I grin, kissing the tip of her nose before peeling her off the wall. "You should know by now that I'm going to take advantage of every free moment we have," I answer with a smirk. She pretends to pout, but I know my woman likes the attention I lavish on her. "You're my whole world, Romeo," she whispers, slipping her hand into mine. I lift it to my lips, pressing them across her knuckles. "And you, my love, are my heart." This concludes Romeo by Cameron Hart, narrated by Helena Walters and Soren Gray. Copyright 2023 by Cameron Hart. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Cameron Hart, care of SBR Media, and was produced in the year 2023 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books, which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.